6:34. Before we do anything, we're gonna put the spotlight on Tracy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
Probably a good place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm Tracy Kennedy. I've been in Upton since 2022. By way of Grafton, and I'm originally from Worcester, so I'm from the Worcester area. I am an attorney by trade. I work in Brookline. And sorry the delay. And getting here with all the traffic on the back. Well, now I know. We'll plan better for the next time.
Most of the meetings are remote, so.
Okay, yes. Well, no, I appreciate meeting everyone.
Yeah, we wanted to meet you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. Our practice, I work for a small firm, and we primarily work with colleges and universities doing investigations around investigations and policies around discrimination and harassment. I worked in colleges and universities for most of my career, and also in those areas of work. And I'm a lifelong reader, big fan of reading, big fan of libraries. My daughter and I love coming here for all of the programming and the playground and the events, and even just to she just loves to go to the desk and ask me, I want to learn about bees, or I want to learn about tigers, or whatever the thing of the day or of the week is. And so we get some storybooks and also some nonfiction. So I just wanted to be a part of and support the great work that you all do here. So.
Well, Tracy, Charlotte and I were crossing our fingers that you didn't get more votes than the. Right now. We were very concerned about that. Because that would have been embarrassing. Yeah. Actually, Charlotte, you've been here for like 30 years.
And you've been the only ones who know.
True.
I know. I was more in fun than anything else.
Yes, I know.
God, yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. It was close. Actually. It was close.
Well, I have a kindergartner, so I do run the. Yeah.
Yeah. It was close, so.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, everybody just went right down though.
Right.
Where in Brookline are you located?
So we're right in Coolidge Corner.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I was there today because I went into Boston. Well, it was a long time ago. I lived on that summit on Mason Terrace.
Okay.
But I went in, I walked to the library, not to the library, to the post office.
Yeah.
And then I took the trolley in to get my Charlie card for older people. And I
get the discount
walked through Coolidge Corner for the longest time. Everything is totally changed. All the different stores. It's amazing. And I will tell you this, I was very lucky. I told the conductor or the driver that I was going into town to get the Charlie card, and how much was it? And she was about to tell me, and then she said, oh, forget it. So I saved, it would have cost me $2.40. And then when I put just enough to take the trolley back, $1.10. That's what it cost me. Hey, I'm back. So it's a great thing. Yes, I really.
But no one knows the song anymore that goes with the chart.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we never return. Yeah. I learned that in grade school.
So for Tracy's benefit, why don't we just very quickly go around to us how long we've been a trustee and what our profession is?
It's been 3 years. My name's Alicia, and I live here in Upton. I also have a kindergartner. I'm sure my son maybe knows here. And I work in a temp office.
Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Maureen Porter. I've been a trustee 3 years, as long as you, I think. Been in town about 40 years. Retired teacher. And enjoying being retirement. I recommend it to
I know Tracy. Yeah, she is my daughter's Girl Scout leader. So
very busy woman.
Yeah, very busy. But I'm Lauren. This will be my 3rd year as well. I am a recruiter for a manufacturing company.
Creator for manufacturing.
Recruiter.
Recruiter for manufacturing.
Yeah.
My name is Lori Wooden. And I'm trustee since '94, except for a few years, and I got off and then got back on. I'm a retired educator, also a library media tech teacher, and do a few other things in town as well.
Just a few, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long list.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Charlotte Carr. Gosh, we've been in Upton for almost 40 years, minus 2 that we moved south to
Okay.
Georgia and then,
Ah,
and I've been a trustee for really a few, no, 28 years or so. And, also a retired teacher. Yeah.
Another retired teacher, Judith Katz. And I've been in town, I think, since, well, it's almost, I think it's 27 years, may not be. And I've been a library trustee since 2008. I think I ran in 2007, and you had come back, Laurie, and you won and I lost.
I never remember when competition.
Watch out, man.
I'm sorry. But I'm glad you stuck with it.
Okay. I assume you know Matthew, but maybe you don't know Matthew? Yeah.
Yeah, do you want
Okay.
me in and I do a little?
Yeah. Oh, if you want to, sure, absolutely. I figured you guys already had connected.
Yeah, so Matthew Backfield, the library director here. I've been here since 2003. So some of the longer members were here on the board when I was hired.
Yeah, we hired you.
And George, I always remember George Clink.
Oh, yeah.
All the, we had a trustee who,
Clink.
he was very interested in personnel, so that's kind of his role on the board was to go to all the interviews back when the trustees did the hiring for all positions.
Ah.
Okay.
I'm Leanne Murphy, I'm the Children's and Young Adult Librarian. I've been with the library since 2013, in this role since 2017, and I've been in town for 26 years.
Wow.
Okay, and I'm Debbie Amarelli, I've been in town 25 years.
HR is my profession. I'm unemployed at the moment. And this, I was looking the other day, I've been a trustee since 2019. So this is the third term. I think I did a 1-year fill-in for somebody
Oh,
and then did 2 terms, so. And that's me. All right. I'm gonna turn the meeting over to Charlotte.
Because it's election.
yeah. So we're gonna have election of officers. So I will take nominations from the floor for our chairperson.
I'm going to take it.
Same.
Second, third.
Jesus.
You're so soft.
That's what I said. Maybe you didn't want to be here.
Are there any other nominations?
Come on, somebody else must wanna. This.
I think we do an exchange stuff.
Debbie, would you accept the nomination? Okay. Okay. So all those in favor of electing Debbie as our chairperson? Say aye. Opposed? All right.
Now, do you go on for vice chair and secretary, or do
No,
I
no,
have to do that?
You can do, sorry, you do.
Yeah, as soon as you get
I gotta
elected.
write this down one of these years.
Yeah, I just
You'll
do.
be reminded.
Okay, all right. So, we do have an opening for vice chair because if I can't make it to a meeting, somebody has to run the meeting. If we were really desperate, we'd go down to, whoever the secretary is or somebody to, to run the meeting. So we'd like to have a vice chair just in case I can't make it. Last year, I think it was Joe,
It was.
right? It was Joe last year. So this would be a new person. Does anyone? There's really no responsibilities unless I can't make a meeting. I mean, that's really kind of,
Or if we
The
have to
job.
have a special, the offices, which we haven't done in years.
no.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's not a lot involved. It's mostly substituting. If I can make it.
So here's my question, I don't know if anybody wants to do it, but can people nominate themselves? Because I don't want to put it on someone who doesn't want it by suggesting them, so I don't know who might want. Like I know Judith did it in the past, but I don't want to make her do it if she doesn't want to do it, so I think.
I don't know. Do you know?
To say if they.
Can we nominate ourselves?
I don't think you can nominate
Doesn't sound
yourself, but you can certainly say, I'm interested if someone.
Ah, there you go. I nominated her.
No.
Okay, you can hint to someone.
What do you mean no?
Did somebody say they were
So is
interested?
anyone interested? Why don't we just?
Interested?
Do I need to make the agenda?
No,
No,
I
Okay,
didn't
so I
either.
just run the meeting.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. It's fine.
So you're interested.
I'm interested.
Okay, Charlotte, is interested in the position. So does someone want to make a
Anyone else?
nomination?
Is anyone else interested, right?
Yeah, is anybody else interested?
Or make a nomination.
I nominated Michelle.
A second.
Vice chair.
You don't need a third.
Oh, I guess I could do it. I'm sorry, I turned the meeting over to you and just zoned out. Okay, so we have a nomination for vice chair. Any discussion? Anyone else want to nominate themselves or someone else rather? Oh, here it is. Okay, we're all here, so we can do a voice vote, right? We don't have to do a roll call. So all in favor? Aye. Okay, no? All right. Now we need to elect a secretary.
I nominate Charlotte Coe.
Yes. Definitely.
Charlotte, are you interested in being our secretary again?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Lori, you made the nomination. Someone want to second that? Judith is going to second it. Got that, Charlotte? The secretary,
For some reason, I didn't write down. I wasn't paying attention.
Alicia, you mean?
I didn't write down who,
I think
Lori.
Lori nominated
Lori.
Alicia and
Okay.
Lori.
Lori
and you seconded.
Okay, yeah, got it. Thank you.
We need to take.
I could look up the rules for, like, I'm not sure you need a second.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
Well,
Because it's not
Okay.
a motion, it's just a
right.
nomination to a position.
Okay, well, we'll have, yeah, let me know.
Relevant.
I gotta write this down for next year. Okay. Whether we need a second or not, did someone second it just for good
Judith
measure?
does.
Judith did, yeah.
Judith, okay. All right, all in favor of Charlotte acting as our secretary for the next year? Say aye.
Aye.
No? No. Okay. Now we're down to the authorized signers. So that's for vouchers, which are basically bills for the library. And you'll see them tonight. We've got some. And we have some usually every month. Ideally, it should be somebody who can get to the library within a day or two of Matthew having them available. I guess I'm always a backup anyway, I think. Maybe, I don't know. I've signed some when Lori couldn't make it, so.
Yes, but I don't think the chair is automatically, I think you have to be included in this vote.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm willing. I mean, I'm in town and right now I'm not working and I can certainly get down here in short notice. So I don't mind being an authorized signer. We need two though, right? Two. So is anyone interested? Okay. Lauren? Lori, why did you sit together? Yes. Okay, so Lauren and I are interested in being the authorized signers.
You need two or three? Just two?
Just two.
Okay.
Someone else interested? All in favor of Debbie and Lauren acting as authorized signers for this year, say aye.
Aye.
No?
Is there a 1 and a 2 with that? Like this is
No. it's-
I don't think so. I think it's just,
total-
yeah, I don't
total
think they-
people
oh.
addressed.
okay.
yeah. Okay. All right. I think we're done with that. Authorized signers, we need to review the meeting minutes. Did anybody have any minute changes or questions for her? Okay. No? Okay. Does someone want to make a motion on the meeting minutes?
And we accept the meetings.
Maureen?
for-
May
Okay.
11th.
Okay.
As
Judith, would you like to second that?
Second, yeah,
Okay. Any other discussion on the minutes? In favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
No? All right. Now we're on to the vouchers, so maybe you can give us a little extra explanation for Tracy's, benefit.
Yeah, so the financial vouchers are one of the key pieces of business that the trustees do. So every bill that the library pays, every cent that we pay out has to be signed and approved by the library trustees. That's how town finances work. So what I do is I prepare a sheet like this. We call these expense vouchers. These are from the town finance director. This is the format all town departments do. And every bill has an associated invoice. So I get an invoice from the company recorded on the cover sheet. And then the trustees approve this. And then technically the town manager also has to approve it, but they have never questioned one that the board has approved. It's just a second pair of eyes. And then the town accountant reviews them, and then the town accountant directs the town treasurer to actually send a check.
Okay.
So it's a very long process to, when people question, like, oh, the town just wastes, there's like so many eyes on every bill, it's cuts down. But it's an important role of the trustees. And I do have these every month, typically at the beginning of the meeting. I scan them as well. We started doing that during COVID when we couldn't meet in person, and we just continued it. So I send a scan of this packet to trustees as part of my email. And then there's a chance for the trustees to ask any questions. Sometimes, a number seems weird, or you don't recognize a vendor, or, even if there's, hey, what's this expense for? We usually have a couple of those questions, and then there's a vote to sort of approve them as a whole. For the trustees that have been here, once you start looking at these, you'll see patterns. Our bills are pretty similar every month. You'll see, all our books now come from Ingram. We have this company called Gale that does we get a bill, there's a lot of companies that bill us every month, for our ebooks, Hoopla. We have some performers that bill us every month. So you'll see a lot of similar names. And if you see something unusual, feel free to ask me. If you are curious at any point about this whole process or any of the bills, you can also ask me outside the meeting.
Okay.
Feel free to shoot me an email and say, hey, something happened at the meeting. It happened really fast. I don't know what it was. I'm always happy to talk about that. We are at an odd point. So our fiscal year ends June 30th.
Okay.
And the town is very strict, like basically no money can cross from one fiscal year to another. So, invoices at the end of the month, Leanne has performers coming up in July. I can't even submit them for payment until July 1st. And we're getting towards the end of our budget. So we get, most of our business, we get an expense account that was approved at town meeting. Most of our regular operating expense comes from that one account. But we do have a few other smaller accounts, some trust funds. We get some money from the state, and June is usually when our expense account is almost gone and we start pulling from some of those other funds. So you'll see things I did different this month that doesn't always happen. Sometimes I'll put a little note. Those are mostly for the town accountant, so he knows exactly what our intentions are. So since we're here today, we can actually pass these around and sign them at the meeting if we want.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about
Instead of having
it.
me-
Just like the old days.
Yeah, usually we do them, we have a voice vote at a trustee meeting, and then one of the authorized signers comes down and signs.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, a few things. I did use $600 from the Lower Durst Trust Fund. We talked about that a few months ago, and then I had to go to the Board of Selectmen and get approval. So now we're finally spending that. I'm not putting these vouchers, we'll put the expense account down to about $500. So it's not quite zero, but it's close. And then you'll see there's a number of vouchers that I'm paying. I'm using the state aid for a couple of them. I'm using the revolving fund for some of the postage and operating expenses and some things like that. So you will see revolving fund and state aid that you don't usually see on some of these vouchers.
If you don't spend the 500, do you lose it?
Yes. So typically I spend the expense account exactly to zero because anything, the revolving fund and the state aid accounts can carry over from year to year. The wages and the expense account, if there's anything left, it goes back to the town's general fund. So when they talk about spending free cash, some of that is leftover library money. But what I will do, I need to go to the treasurer and double check the exact amount that's in there that they think we have in the account, and I do, and then I'll do a voucher. We get one more round of vouchers in July to finish up all the June bills, and I'll spend the expense account to zero with that. Did anyone have questions on the scans? I know sometimes some of you notice.
I just have a question. There were a lot of children's things, which was
Yeah.
wonderful. But when you sometimes wean from the adult books, do you do any of that for the kids? Very much of that?
Yes,
It seems like
constantly. Yeah, every collection we have now,
Yeah.
we're basically back to all the shelves are full. So for every book we buy, some of the book has to be.
I think it's taken children's a little longer than adults.
Yeah.
The adult shelves tended to fill up a lot quicker than
Yeah.
the children's.
Yeah,
But I'm at that point now.
when we moved, we expanded the children's collection a little more than we did the adult
And
collection.
they're skinnier.
A lot of kids, yeah.
Oh, it's
Do you
true.
find the children using any of the ebooks or any of that? Or is it mostly
Yes,
text?
yes, we do.
I have a question on, I guess, the drum circle. It's more of a general question. Maybe it could be the financial report, but can you refresh my memory as to why we took over paying for the drum circle? Because it was the
Yeah.
funds.
The Friends of the Library agreed to fund it for the first year,
Okay,
and they decided not to fund it after that. And I wanted the program to keep continuing, so we're gonna pay for that. It's $125 a month.
so they voted not to continue. Okay.
Sure.
The friends meeting on Thursday.
I believe one of the main concerns was, there was some concern that the majority of the attendees are not Upton residents, so that was one reason why the Friends of the Library were
So this,
questioning it.
so this is about $1,500 a year.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, that was my question.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions about the vouchers?
My only concern is between that and the virtual authors, that probably eats up the adult portion of the programming, right?
yeah, I'm relying a lot, on the money from the passport photos, which is going into the revolving fund. So a lot of things we've been doing, kind of extra things, like the drum circle, the constant contact, subscription that we're gonna have to start doing. I'm pulling some things like that don't fit in, don't fit neatly in the categories for the budget. I'm doing some of those from the revolving fund and using up that passport photo money.
Now, did you say the passport money or the number of people applying for passports pretty stable and regular? Because it's something you only do every 10 years. So I keep thinking that number's going to drop off at some point.
No, that's like a different year that they're gonna expire. And then every time you have a
I
new
know,
child.
it's amazing to be able to study. Yeah.
A lot of people wanna get out of dog if they wanna
Goes
get.
up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
stable.
no, it's pretty stable.
We stay right around 20 to 30 passports a month.
It's a lot.
We've had a few months that spiked up over 40, and I don't know if you remember, there was one month I was like, oh, we can't keep doing this, but as long as, we've been pretty, and we don't,
It's kind of
it
settled
kind
down.
of self-regulates, Michaela and I block off times when we don't have appointments available, so I think people, if they can't find an appointment here, they'll go somewhere else. So it kind of self-regulates a little
Yeah.
bit, but it's pretty steady at
Mhm.
20, 25, 35 per month. All right, so we used to not actually take a vote. It was just the act of signing the voucher was the vote.
Right.
So it's so weird to do this, and we've been doing it online for so long, but do you want to do your usual vote?
Tell
And
you
then
what, why don't we just
we can have
cover it by doing a
one
vote?
person's time.
Pass them around and, if you want to sign them, you can sign them. They're gonna reach you first, so.
Matt, I have a question, we'll take a look. When people sign up for Drum Circle, do they have to register what town they're from?
No, so Drum Circle is drop-in, actually. We did have registrations for a while at the beginning just to get an idea. But when Dave starts the Drum Circle, one of the things he does is he asked everyone to like go around and say their name and what town they're from.
Uh-huh.
So we get a pretty good idea of who. And I mean, attendance drum circle, actually, the last 2 times attendance has dropped off. We used to be getting about 30 pretty consistently. The last 2 have been in the teens, like 15 and 17. And usually it's about 6 to 8 Upton people.
Is it usually
So-
the same people?
There's like a core that come to all of them, and then the rest are kind of in and out. So the Friends did, that was one of their concerns, was that, 30 people are attending, and, only 6 of them, it's only 20% Upton residents.
Yeah.
That's one of the concerns they have. I personally really like it. I mean, it's a local presenter,
Yeah.
so that's the point in it there. It's incredibly inexpensive for what, it's a 2.5 hour participatory music program that would cost $500 for anyone else. So we get it for 125. And it's one of the few like adult music things that we offer
Right.
regularly.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get rid of it. I was just curious. I couldn't remember why we.
Is there no charge for it?
Charlotte, I don't think.
There
we're
is no,
authorized,
there's
right?
no cost to the participants.
Is there donations
No,
taken?
I think it's just.
When the Friends were
I think you
sponsoring
can
it,
look
you
at them,
used to
but I don't
say,
think you're
could we
supposed to
donate to the
Oh,
Friends?
because the old.
But we don't
everybody's
put
like-
like,
There's no
donation.
donation.
I wasn't even here.
that's not
literally,
something
in
we
your
do part of
place.
the program.
Okay, so,
We all.
sorry,
Like the old
should
days.
Matthew? Oh,
Yeah,
we
that's
all
what I was
signed?
thinking, yeah.
Oh, all right, sorry, I'm wrong. Okay.
Okay, and I left the top line for
Leave it
you.
on.
Oh, thank you. Okay, all right. Okay.
Well, when you got the donations, did it come to very much?
That's what it is.
No,
Yeah, so
a few people like Venmo the Friends, because that's what David said, when it was sponsored by the Friends, David said,
Right.
thank you to the Friends, they're our sponsors, here's their Venmo,
So some-
donate.
something throw money. Okay, all right. Well, does someone want to make a motion on the vouchers just to cover ourselves completely so that we're all voting the sign?
I make a motion that we accept the vouchers as written.
Okay. Someone second? Oh, Marie? Great. Okay,
once you said it.
all in favor of accepting the vouchers as presented? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so.
It's weird being in
I
person.
know, I
We have our routine online and we have our stuff.
Very difficult.
Took on. All right, so the monthly financial report is next.
I printed out a few packets of all the documents, if anyone
Oh, good.
didn't see them or wants to look at them while we're discussing.
Okay.
So this has,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
this has the agenda, the financial report and the record. I did not print the survey results because it was so long. I have 2 more if anybody.
Keep your track, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
All right, so the thing we're discussing next is that, the second page of that packet, it's a little spreadsheet looking thing. This is the financial report that I prepare every month for the trustee. This is not an official report from the town accountant. I do check it with him every once in a while to make sure that our numbers line up. But this is just for the trustees and I to keep track of where we are through the fiscal year. And the format is what we've kind of worked out as being most helpful to the trustees. It's not set in stone, so if this is bewildering or you want to see a different number on there every month, we can do that. But pretty much I listed everything with an actual number, that's an official town account. If it just has a name without a number, that's just sort of a subcategory that we use internally to allocate our resources. So that's why it's possible for us to be negative on some of those. We can never be negative on an actual account number, but we can be negative on some of the subheadings because they're fungible. So I just sort of the first column, that's what the town appropriated at the town meeting for our budget. Then the next column is what we had used prior to this month. The vouchers column, that's what, if you take everything in that green folder and add it up, that's what you're actually signing tonight. The expended column, that's where we will be after you sign the vouchers. And all those vouchers are things we've already like received, so.
Yeah.
If there's never been like a point where the trustees said, wait a minute, we don't want to actually pay this. If you ever did do that, I'm not sure what the result would be, because that's stuff we've probably already consumed. The town,
Don't do it again. That's what we would probably
Basically,
say. I don't know.
so again, by town financial policy, we're not supposed to pay for anything we haven't received yet,
Right.
which sometimes causes some conflict with vendors, because they often want to be paid up front and not a month after they give us the thing. So anyway, it's not a formality, because it's important that the trustees are the ones who fundamentally spend the library's money. But most of it is stuff that's regular, we've talked about before, or if there's something super unusual or it costs a lot of money, I'll often bring it to the trustees and say, I'm going to do this. Are you sure you're okay with it? Because, yeah, I'm not sure what would happen if the trustees actually did vote to approve a voucher.
Let's hope that never happens.
Yeah, definitely do, if there is something, question it at the meeting, and then as Debbie said, if something did get purchased that the trustees felt wasn't appropriate, it would basically be, hey, Matt, you don't do
Right,
that
don't
again.
do it. Exactly. That's right there.
And then obviously the end balance, that's how much is left in that account. And we sort of track that over the year. And then just to help myself, I put the percent. So, and we're in month 11 out of 12, which is not, we're 92% of the way through the fiscal year. So if most of our accounts are close, so, if we're only 30% through and I've spent 70% of a budget, that's maybe there's a reason why. Maybe we had to do a big purchase early in the year, but we just kind of make sure we're on track.
And towards the end of the year, Matthew moves money around. So when you see like 124%, 131%, you're like, how is that possible?
Right. So like materials processing is, a big negative. So
Illegally.
the other trustees have heard this quite a bit, but the cost of, so materials processing is like the plastic book covers and the labels and the stickers and everything we use to preserve items, bags, cases, all those things have been continually rising in price. So we make our best estimate when we set our budget. But there's some things that we can't just stop putting covers on books 3/4 of the way through the year.
For sure.
But that's, as I said, that's just as a budget category, it's a subcategory for us, so it's okay, so we'll just end up, we have this savings in library network membership. That's, that $2,500 is actually, essentially it's a grant the state gives us because we're a small library. So I sort of know that we're gonna have that little bit of flexibility that 2,500 can cover some of the gaps somewhere else. But it's also very helpful when we get to next year's budget, we can say, hey, for the last 2 years, we've been -500 on materials processing. Maybe we need to actually raise that. And in the bottom part, we do have some revenue. So we take in passport fees. That's one of the few things we do that we charge a fee for. The bulk of that gets turned over directly to the town. We don't actually get to just spend that. It just gets turned over to the town and then it gets appropriated to the town. Did anyone have any questions on this month's financial report?
Can you explain
Yes.
about the revolving revenue?
Yes.
Oh, so
So
high number, isn't it? 745.
a revolving fund is, it's a fund set up by the town that we're allowed to put money into and take money out of, and it's designed for, when we constantly charge a fee, the photocopying fees go in there, and then we pay for, the paper out of it. What else do we, overdue fines go in there, replacement, someone loses a book or damages a book and pays for it, that money goes in there. So typically that was running about $500 to $1,000 a year consistently. When did we start passing? Was it 2 years ago we did photos? Maybe it's only been a year we've been doing photos. Maybe about a year and a half. We've been
Photo.
taking passport photos, which is an extra service that we charge $10 for, and that we get to keep for the revolving fund. And we've made a significant amount of income off of that, but obviously that would put us way over the budget estimate. So when we were just getting fees and overdue fines, we were estimating about 700 and what do we say? 750 that we said we were gonna get in revenue. Now, obviously, we're at 745% of that because we got $4,000 in passport photos. So that's a good thing. Having your revenue be a super high percent is a good thing. And the town is because the town balances its budget on these things, they're very conservative in revenue estimates. They always want to estimate low because if you estimate high and then you have a shortfall, then you're in this, you can't pay your bills and it's not good. But the revolving fund is pretty flexible. We can use it on anything related to programming or replacement materials, or even office kind of stuff. We can, basically, it's supposed to match what the sources of the revenue are. So the good news is this year we ended up with probably about $5,000 from passport photo fees and inspecting, and we're starting to use some of that. As I said, I've been using it for some extra programming, like the drum circle. The magnets that are going around, we actually paid for out of that. We'll probably do some extra subscription. So Constant Contact is a subscription service. We'll talk about that. We'll probably do. Did that answer?
So that's how much is in it now, 4,800, and we can spend all of it?
Yes. Well, so we do have this weird limit. So the revolving funds have weird limits because of the way they're structured. So you can't just put, you can't turn it into an infinite money slush fund. And our limit is $6,000, which turns out that's only a limit on how much you can spend from. So our expenditures this fiscal year can't exceed 6,000. And then next year, that's gonna go up to 10,000. So I'll spend some with the remaining June bills, and then we'll carry some over.
This is how, can it be helpful in paying the areas that we have deficits in? Materials processing, office supplies, and are we able to use it for those?
Yeah, yes, but, so this is where this report only needs to make sense to us. So if, let's say on the vouchers, I think I put some stamps on one of the vouchers for stamps from the debit card, the WEX debit card. I paid that from the revolving fund, but I still credit that as an office supplies expense. So and the reason, Debbie asked me this a while too, can't we just make some of those negatives go away if we use the revolving? We could, but the reason I don't want to do that is because when we hit the budget planning next year, if I hide, if I'm always hiding $500 in office supplies expense, we're never going to increase that account. So seeing a deficit on last year's report, we can say, hey, last year we spent, we were $1,000 in deficit. We need to increase this budget line. So that's why I report it that way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Staff training, can you roll that to next year, or can you use some of this money to give them a lunch or something before the fiscal year is out?
Yeah, so unfortunately, anything that's in that FY20, I should say FY26, I apparently have not updated that line in 2 years. Yeah, anything that's in that section is not gonna roll over. So if we don't spend that, we can't keep it. And the town is weird about buying food for employees. We have to, yeah. So if we were gonna purchase a webinar or something, but again, it's all sort of fungible, right? So yeah, we didn't spend the 500 staff training, but the money in that account is going to get spent on something. Town finances, municipal finances.
I used to work for the city.
It's so different than the stuff, my household budget and the town library budget, the processes are so different.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for thinking of that.
I have a question from actually what you brought to the selectmen. So I know you took 600 from, or accepted 600 from the Laura Drug Fund. The 500 from Hogan Duncan. Was that earmarked for something? Or it
No,
was a general
Yeah.
donation? Okay.
yeah, so that money, if we just get, if someone just writes us a check for, because they're being generous, that money goes into what the Good Fortune Library Fund. That's where we kind of park that. Unless they're, if someone writes us $1 million check, that's gonna turn into a trust fund and it's gonna be, a good thing. But $500, we get $2,000 from Unibank. That goes into this thing called the Good Fortune Library Fund.
Oh,
And then we can spend from that.
And that rolls over.
Yeah, and it's,
The libraries.
again, if the accountant ever questioned that, so every other trust fund, we have to go to the Board of Selectmen and ask permission to spend it. And that's probably true for the Good Fortune Library Fund, but
Yeah.
no one's ever questioned that or told me so. As long as they let us use the Good Fortune Library Fund.
Right.
I'm just gonna keep using it until they tell us, hey, that's actually a trust fund. You have to follow the trust fund
Oh.
rules.
And it's pretty healthy balance right now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of good. Okay.
Yeah.
And the $2,000 gift from the Friends, is that for the library program?
That's for the
new library
sensory.
program, right? I remember them saying they had to donate, make the donation, and then we could use it to pay for that program, right?
Yeah.
The supplies and the new sensory program.
So we'll do the same,
Okay.
we'll do the same thing. That check got deposited into the Good Fortune Fund, and then when I hit a invoice that I know is related, like when we
Right.
bought that cart, that's why
Okay.
there's some expenses from the Good Fortune Fund, so those are mostly kids programs that got paid for by the Unibank donation and sensory play stuff that got paid.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Any other questions for Matthew on the financial report?
Oh, I will, so we are getting to the end of the fiscal year, and then it's actually, the end of the fiscal year is not bad. Beginning of the next fiscal year, so, any bills that I have that I get before the end of June, we have to get processed and on vouchers. And the accountant sets a deadline for when those have to be in. And often he sets it very early, like sometimes it's been July 3rd and it's been just like, that's not possible.
Yeah.
Usually it's the second week in July, usually it's before our July trustee meeting. So if you remember, I often have to send out, hey, can we approve these vouchers outside of the normal meeting process? You can do that. They don't love it if you do it on a regular basis, but once in a while you can. So this year, he's actually put the final deadline as July 17th, which was a very nice surprise that we got basically an additional
It's
week.
after a meeting, so.
Because
So-
the meeting's even late, because doesn't July start like on a Tuesday or something?
yeah.
So we missed it.
Yeah, so I think what we'll be able to do is just do our regular voucher process in July, and then as long as my signers could sign them the next day, I don't like waiting till the day before the deadline. If I get really nervous, I may like ask you to do some the week before, but I think it'll be okay. We can do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, just let us know. One of us, I'm sure, can take care of it. Okay. Anything else on the financial report? Any questions? Okay. I guess someone will make a motion to accept the financial report.
I move, Judith, that we accept the financial report as given.
You, second?
The second, the financial report is given.
You? Any other discussion? All in favor of approval of the financial report? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
next up is Leanne.
Yay.
I put you before the director's report. You could stay if you wanted, but you could also duck out after your presentation.
As always, I'm excited to attend your meeting in June and just share what we've got planned for the summer program. Matthew's just giving you the little video, I think,
Yeah, I just,
that got sent out to you. It's just kind of gave an overview. That's what I send out to all the local schools, so the librarians, if they have one, can share it with the kids. If not, the administrators share it with the teachers, and it kind of gets the kids excited. So we have all these things that when kids can register, they can get them in person by paper, or families can print things from home. If they'd rather, the little videos on there, so we like to direct families to that so they can review how the program works.
You wanna play?
I don't know, do you want to play it again? Has anybody watched it?
It's 2 minutes.
Yeah. So the slides, the teachers will be telling the kids things. Bigger. Something. Don't have to say things. Summer, things with the kids' lives, and any summer to change anything. Little greenhouse is fun this year.
We always do very self-directed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do as much.
Read
or
at
as
home,
little.
get read too.
Yep.
Everybody's has a different capability.
No, it's even better. Love to see you here, but it's another place. Thank you. People are always surprised how many libraries in our area. Guys, the big ones, and then the book bundles from the friends. Yeah, yeah.
Some kids are very prize motivated and
Discussion every year. Just do like a. And we just. And show people that we have digital resources. We've got a lot of people signing up for this. We're hoping older kids and adults can sign up for the later time slots. The younger families want to come in and then gets to bed. Excuse me. All right, so that's the videos. The theme is called Plant a Seed, Read. It's from the I Read program company. Basically in Massachusetts, there are two companies, the I Read program and Collaborative Summer Library program. Massachusetts is using. So Plant a Seed, Read is all about planting, nature, gardening, farm to table. So we've kind of planned a lot of our activities around that. The artwork you can see on the front is from Pete Oswald and Jory Vaughn. They've written a lot of books together. So I kind of used those graphics because kids know those really well. If you look inside, I was just showing Matthew before we came into the meeting, that QR code at the top is for a Plant a Seed, Read Spotify playlist. And I found that idea somewhere and I said, oh, that'd be great because I maintain the library Spotify page or channel, whatever you call it. And just all kinds of gardening, kids songs, just be fun. And it doesn't dump in lots of other content. It's just what I put in there, which is kind of nice. Organize the calendar this year by, instead of by age, I did it by month, so you can see all along how your summer might play out. The mini golf is the kickoff, sponsored by the Friends, which is always really great. We've got some read around the towns. Those change every year, but typically the police station and the fire station are the two draws for kids. We've done the DPW before too, but it's often too hot there and they don't have any air conditioning.
Yeah.
Not yet. Obviously, we reached out to Kelly's Family Farm and Town Line Dairy. We've done those before and they're always excited to have us come visit. The summer story walk will be on the fence out at the VFW playground. We try and do story walks throughout 3 of the 4 seasons, just to provide some literature out there for the kids. I'm not going to read through everything, but some highlights I wanted to give you would be on July 11th, Parody Playhouse. That's a new program we're bringing in quarterly. It's a Saturday music program. It's a little more expensive, so we can't budget every month for that, but we wanted to offer something for families on the weekend. And I did some research, went to visit this performer based upon a recommendation from a patron, actually. And I was pleased with it, brought it to Matthew, and he said quarterly would be good. So July 11th will be the first performance by.
So it's a play, they're gonna come and do.
No, Parody Playhouse. that's just what this performer is calling her program. It's like a music and movement. She plays the guitar. She does a lot of social emotional kind of songs with the kids, and she bases them on current adult popular songs, but she changes the lyrics so they're for kids. And it's really fun. So just something different. And it's on the weekend, which is really important, I think, for families. Yeah.
And that's because, I don't know if everyone remembers, but Deb Hudgens, who has been doing monthly programs for us for 20 years.
Yeah.
She's retiring, so her program is going away. So this Parody Playhouse is one of the two things we found to replace that children's music slot.
So currently we have a monthly music and movement program currently, Deb.
Sure.
Sometimes twice a month. We're gonna be moving that down to once a month. And we're gonna have a performer from Apple Tree Arts come in once a month to do that program. That will be funded by.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, CE, beginning.
Yes.
Yes. Sure what that was.
The program that's taking over for Deb Hudgens is gonna be going down to just once a month. It's gonna be called Family Music and Movement, and it'll be run from the Apple Tree Arts in Grafton. And that'll be funded through Beginning Bridges CFCE in Uxbridge. So they're budgeting for that, so we can take some of our funds to pay for the Parody Playhouse. The Storytime Quintet I wanted to highlight because that is what we received our cultural council grant from the Upton Cultural Council, so they're paying for that. They've come here before. Basically, it's a quintet of musicians and they play to tell a children's picture book story. They're telling Peter and the Wolf. So. And then the Boston Bruins mascot visit, I have to tell about that because every year I apply to see if Blaze will come and finally Upton got chosen. So July 15th was the date they gave us. Blaze is coming, no players, just the mascot with some attendance. They run the whole program. We just have to book the room, handle any advertising, and they're gonna come for that. So it's pretty exciting.
You know what he does? Does he just take pictures with the
They do
kids?
pictures, I think they do a little story time and some little table crafts, so it's an hour and we're very excited.
Great.
Tools for Tiny Hands, that's another collaborative program with Beginning Bridges. We've done that several times before and we're doing that again, which is nice. Another collaboration is Boots Along the Blackstone, that's with Park Ranger Shireen Maud at Riverbend Farm. We've been collaborating a lot, just doing some free activities. She has a great curriculum that she shares with us, and yeah, we've got a lot of plans with her for the fall too, so that's pretty exciting. And then
The
some-
person from Riverbend Farm.
Riverbend Farm, yes. Pajama Storytime, we've been trying to implement some of those throughout the year. That's a new program. And then Storyteller Diane Edgecombe, I don't know if we've ever had a storyteller, Matthew. So that's
Not in a
something.
long time. We've had her before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I think before you were here.
Okay, yeah, I get
her in
contacted all the time.
90s, that's a long time.
I get contacted all the time by a few storytellers and I've always put them off. I said, well, let's just try one this year and see. We had enough budget money to do that. So, again, those donations from Unibank really helped the summer reading program go farther than if we just had our own small budget. It really wouldn't look like this. It would really be a very different summer program. And then we do run all of our regular programs. So between Michelle Kick and I and staff, we run everything all summer and it truly takes a village. We're busy all summer long. And then, yeah, the other thing is the ice cream social finale sponsored by the Friends.
Question about that. Do you have to be in attendance for the winners for the draw?
We usually I do them with whichever staff member is here that morning. We do them with a witness, all drawn. It's all done fairly. So if you get chosen out of one, you can't win more than one prize, but we choose those the morning of August 8th, and then we'll do a social media post, we'll do a blog post, all the things.
What's warming around?
Yeah, that is a program that's going to be run by Michelle, who's our children's library specialist. I forget her
Children's
title.
specialist, her job description is short.
That was an idea she came up with. Her father-in-law practices vermiculture, which is worming,
Oh, yeah.
having worm farms. So I'm not quite sure exactly what she's bringing, but there'll be works in the building that day, I'm sure. Either Monday or Tuesday. Because she's one of the days she's here. And she's done this program before at her previous library. So when she mentioned it, I said, yep, go for it. That sounds great. It's something we've never done and perfect STEM activity. Bringing a book with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but trustees are always welcome to attend to anything. You don't have to really register unless you're bringing your children. But just give me a heads up that you're coming. We'd love to have you.
Looks great.
Looks fabulous.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always say, oh, we do, Nancy and I always say, oh, if we do too much, and then I do this again. So
Yeah.
it's a lot, and anything that we have left over from Unibank donations, we do use throughout the year. So I know they gave us another donation recently. Did you mention that to the trustees at all?
No,
Yeah, they gave us another $2,000.
Wow.
yeah, and this one is, they did it specifically to all the libraries in towns they serve, and it's, in honor of the 250th,
Mhm.
anniversary of the country. So the money is not tied, it doesn't have to be anything related to that, but, we talked about maybe getting some books related to that topic. We wanted.
I already have some actually.
Yeah.
So Michaela and I we're going to be spending that money. I've already got ideas. Matthew and I have talked about expanding the juvenile kit collection. And we'll be upping that.
Oh, that's right, yeah. I know
what I'm gonna
we
do.
wanted to make it something that was
And we could put their
a
spots.
part of the collection that we could put their name, because
Yeah.
they give us a lot of money, we tend to use it all at programs.
Right.
Which if you don't come to that program, you don't necessarily recognizing that so we wanted to do something that was in the collection that would have
And it's
that.
kind of been on one of my goals to revamp that collection and expand it. Because a lot of libraries have, it's kind of like a library of things for kids, but that's different from the money they gave us for the summer.
So it was $2,000 for the summer reading program for the 250?
And another 2,000.
Because the 2,000 Leanne has to apply for it, because they always give it to us every year, but
Yes,
there's enough, this.
yeah.
So they gave us 2,000 for that back
Mhm.
in like December. And then they called just out of the blue a few weeks ago, and they said,
Yeah.
hey, we want to give all the towns that we serve an
Amazing.
additional donation, for this purpose, and it's somehow it's related with the Woo Sox, because
Oh, yeah.
they want us.
They're doing a ceremony.
Leanne volunteered to be the one who goes, so they're
I'll just get Kayla to come.
they're giving us two tickets to the Woo Sox game, and then they're gonna present the donation like on the field before the game.
Great.
That'd be fun.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, Matthew doesn't go with.
No, I,
Are you gonna be there with other towns that have?
I think so.
as well?
yeah, I think it's all the towns that are getting this donation.
That's great.
It is next time.
Again, without their donations, the summer reading program would not really look like this. A lot of performers cost at least $500 to $600, and I really work hard to stretch our budget, our program's budget, donations, to kind of reach all ages and throughout the calendar year.
Almost all the raffle prizes are donations. We
Right,
don't
so-
talk into them.
No, I reach out, and this year I reached out to just a few. I mean, Wegmans always gives us a gift card, so I use that to buy things. Like you saw the video of the little bag with the beans that the kids will grow in the little greenhouse. I get all those supplies, any incidentals that really can't go through any of our vendors that we use. It's kind of hard. Pins, they're gonna give us some bowling. Southwick Sioux always gives us 2 tickets. That's all they'll give us 2, and we apply for that every year. The RecCom gives us a beach pass. We were talking about that because it's always a beach pass for the next season. Summer's almost over,
Right.
so that way they get a nice full summer of using it. And then West End Creamery is a new one. I reached out to them. They were ready to give us a ton of things, and I said, I don't need 6 tickets. After giving us tons, so I kept it small and
6 tickets for what?
for mini golf.
Oh.
They have mini golf at West End Creamery. I don't know if you've ever been. They have ice cream, mini golf, they have a corn maze. And that's not too far. I'm trying to do things I kept things fairly local this year rather than doing. museums.
What town is it?
I think they're like,
That's where.
Oh, it's right up 146.
a lot of the other places, I kind of shied away because they're Boston or Western Mass, and it's a lot of driving, so I kept it fairly local for the the big raffle prize. And all kids have to do is come to the library every week to get their free raffle ticket. And then they'll get the packet of activities at the beginning when they register that the families can do as much or as little as they want. And we try to keep it really simple honor system, so families don't have to work really hard keeping track of too many things.
As they go to a different library, they'll get a ticket.
They can count their activities on our log, but the logs can only be turned in here.
Okay.
And so if they get at least 15 activities on their little garden sheets, they can get a bag that has a little logo from the summer. And we got some mini wind chime kits for the kids. Yeah.
Yeah, all libraries
Like pencils and things.
are using the same theme,
Yeah.
but we don't coordinate any of our actual
No.
programs or anything, incentives or anything like that.
Yeah.
Don't cross lines.
No, so the resources they give us come with a pre-made little reading log. But really, I prefer to tailor it to what we want the kids to do here. And every library usually tailors it to their own patrons. So Matthew, if you wanted to open the garden sheets one. So this is similar. Last year we did a game board and that was really fun. So I did a little garden and we break it down. I've got 3 different sheets for different age levels. There are a lot of same things, but as the kids get older, and I've talked to a librarian, that's hard for some kids, you know, but in attending a program, trying to realize, you know, come to the library, do more than just get books.
Right.
You know, how to use the catalog. So different things for different ages. Still the same prizes. That's kind of hard to do unless you have a lot of funding for prizes, but typically the participants are babies all the way through maybe 12, a couple 14-year-olds, but it's mostly the babies through elementary school. We might get some middle schoolers. And then Michaela does her own.
Yeah,
adult
Michaela's gonna
programs.
try to do a few. I think she did
She did,
just like 1 or 2 events last year for an adult summer reading program. She's gonna try to do a few.
but she's
more.
got a whole different raffle prize system. and
Bingo was
everything.
fun.
Into the bingo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like the bingo. Bingo.
And the funny thing is we all do
Two different.
we all do a staff bingo sheet.
Yeah, nice.
With some fun stuff.
I don't know if you guys know, but BPL is giving away like a summer reading tote bag for, like, if you visit the BPL and you register to get the bingo card.
Yeah, if you think of any questions, feel free to stop in or email anytime. I know I don't come to many meetings, but I'm always an open book. You could ask anything about what you see in the library or programs.
I thought the survey results were very positive about.
Yeah.
For
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
And Leanne joined us at our Girl Scout meeting, our Daisy Scout meeting. We meet at the library actually, and Lauren was there as a parent assistant. It was great if you talked to a trustee and a member of the library, the children's librarian. It was wonderful. They just sat and left, you read to them, and it was just a wonderful way to bring in, community and community leaders and how we can help our community. We have a Girl Scout troop of kindergartners, or 12 kindergartners. Yes, we're after school right at Memorial, so a couple every other week. So it was really
To
wonderful.
get out to the schools. I mean, it's a lot of work sometimes to do a lot of those things and organizing materials, but it really is important for kids to put a name with a face and make a connection so that at least they know somebody when they get in the building.
I wonder if we know if the children's librarians have been rehired yet. Since the old.
Yes, well, the override
override.
is still
I know, so- But no, they have letters, termination letters, so they have to get contract.
If they
We
don't,
don't want to lose any in the meantime. we can get a contract.
they don't get their contract right away, and they collect during the summer.
They'll have the contracts in time, I would think. I just will take keep them.
Okay, anything else, Leanne?
No, I can talk all night.
All right, it's great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the director's report.
Yeah, 2 things before I actually close the report.
Okay.
One is there's some magnets on the table. I want to make sure those get passed around. If you would like to take one or the other, please take. Those are some.
And magnets? My goodness.
Those are some promotional items for the library. Amelia did the design on those, and then we funded them through those passport photos. So we have a whole box of those now that
Goodness, okay.
we can take if we're doing off-site outreach or we're doing a program, I don't think I'm just gonna put them on the circ desk for a free for all, but
No, yeah.
if we're going to a program or we're having people come in, we can hand those out.
So great.
There's been some debate, some staff have very strong opinions that the round one is much better, and some staff, maybe only one staff person, feels that the business card style is better, but.
That's for the two.
Questions.
Anyway, these are great.
Yeah.
And so are these sort of at the desk for people to take?
Well, I don't think,
Program attendees?
I think we're gonna use them for if we go off-site as an outreach
Oh,
event,
okay.
or
Okay.
if we're doing something, like an adult program or Leanne's, just we're bringing people in. I don't
Okay,
think
got
I wanna just put them on the desk.
Yeah, no, we got it right.
Let people take, because they ended up costing us, I think we got the price down to about 20 cents a piece. So it's not a huge amount, but it's enough that.
This is a nice prize.
Yeah.
Where'd you
This
order
is
from?
nice. Maybe
This is
adult
right.
reading programs.
That's where
We
my
don't
husband
get
works.
it.
Next time, let me know.
But it's
Oh,
nice.
okay. We do quite a few things with Vista Print if we need something.
Free shipping, wherever it counts.
All right.
Because usually when we do, when I do outreach events, I'll bring, extra summer reading stuff.
Right,
but
yeah.
It is nice to have something branded for the library. so.
Yeah, give away.
That's a
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay.
And then one thing that I didn't put in my report that it basically just got approved a few days ago, finally. I wanted to mention it. So we're gonna have a summer intern at the library this year, which is not something we've ever done before. But I think she's a junior in college, and she sent a proposal for what she went, kind of through her school. She's getting school credit for it. And
Nice.
when she first approached me, I thought for sure that it was gonna be, because it's the town, I figured there would just be stacks of paperwork, and, requirements and stuff,
I
and
didn't think you could.
it's really not so.
Great.
A couple of the departments, the senior centers had an intern a few times.
Icon
So
had
there's-
an intern. couple
Yeah, so apparently the town is just considering them a volunteer that works more hours than the average volunteer, so there is
Okay.
all they have to do is sign the volunteer waiver on the town side,
Well,
so it's very good.
I had interns all the time when I was school librarian. So will this person come with things that they have to have experience doing? in order
So
to- You're here to learn how to do your job.
Yeah, because they approached us, so, the intern sort of wrote a proposal for what she wanted to do in her his work. So she's very interested in young adult and adult programming, so she's gonna try to do some of that. And then sort of just generally, what does a librarian do? So Michaela is gonna be doing the bulk of the day-to-day supervising, I'll do like sort of the administrative management, but Michaela's gonna do sort of the day-to-day. Here are your tasks, what are we doing? They're gonna do about 15 hours a week for 10 weeks or so during the summer.
Where is the where is she here? The student.
Suffolk
That's
University.
We should learn to do collection development and those kinds of things too.
I think so. When Michaela and I talked, because Michaela and I had to talk and make sure we had enough things that someone could usefully do for 15 hours a week. And I'm also pretty sensitive that I don't want to take work away from, I never want to tell an employee, hey, we're gonna take a task that we pay you normally for and give it to a volunteer. I'm very careful about that. And I also, in some ways, I kind of wish there was a little more paperwork, because then I'd have some more, I'm a little wary of giving them access to confidential information and stuff. So we're not going to use them. They're not going to be at the desk checking things in and out. We're not going to give them access to patron records, but I think we can definitely do some collection development stuff and cataloging and give them access to that side of things. So
Budget.
this young lady is a relative of a current staff person. So that was one little hurdle. I had to clear that through HR. It's also someone who was in our team group, 15 years ago.
Oh, really?
They went to story time, they went through team group, they went away, college.
They're going to be the kind of people that they're going to
That's
tell you
great.
about how important it is, what it did.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is a
great.
great thing.
So I did have to, make clear everything through HR to make sure that that wasn't an issue. And apparently, as long as the parent is not in any sort of supervisory, like you can't just like intern, like to be your dad's assistant or whatever, but because there's some complete
And
separation.
she's
there.
at Suffolk.
So
If-
you
if-
know who it is?
It's Mindy's.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I don't think the secret at this point is Ally Martin. If you know Mindy Martin, she, as one of our new library assistants, it's Mindy Martin's older daughter. So if this goes well, the one thing that makes me feel a little uncomfortable is it feels like, I mean, this person took initiative and like
Reached out.
looked for this opportunity, but I could see someone saying, well, why did they get an opportunity that wasn't offered to anyone else? So if it works well and we want to make this, if we want to make this a regular thing, I think next year what I might do is just sometime in the spring, just say, you know, Upton Library is accepting applications for
Right.
summer interns. I mean, we don't have to plaster it everywhere. We don't have to like recruit people, but at least, you know, if we have some sort of
Mhm.
posting and then, you know, I know schools often say, hey, once, you know, they'll keep track of where all their students were interns. And when someone's looking, they'll say, hey, this place took someone last year.
I think that's really great.
That is
Great,
great.
really good.
Yeah, it's not something we've ever really even considered because I sort of assumed the town would put up all kinds of roadblocks to that. But other departments have been doing it very
But
successfully.
why would you think that the town would put up roadblocks?
Because everything involving personnel with the town is difficult. And there's, you know, there's union stuff. I could see a lot of, well, you're taking work that should be paid and, you know,
Right.
minimum
Free
wage
labor or
laws.
whatever, yeah.
I know if you're interning for like a for-profit company, I know there's a lot of restrictions on you, like, it can't be work that they would normally, they can't use it to dodge minimum wage, right? And not hire someone. and
You
put
can't
them
have you answering the phone as a receptionist, because that's a job.
Right.
Something.
Could they like work with the traffic arts person a little bit of time and those kinds of promotion and how you promote programs and things like that? Is that something? Like, you know, just not do their work, but spend time learning from them.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing I kind of wish maybe we had started a little earlier because, you know, she's excited. She would like to plan, you know, ways to get young adults coming to the library more. We don't really, you know, starting now, like by the time we plan and start a program, we might get one session of it in August. You know, whereas if we had maybe started in April, if you could run it through the whole, but yeah, it's
Great.
Matthew, I was thinking of making a suggestion based on the results of the survey. That maybe somebody would like to start a program with middle or high school kids to do like a weekly podcast or a video, you know, that could be posted online to provide information about town. Because one of the things that kept coming up in the survey is people
Information.
looking for information, looking to this as a community resource to provide that information. And I thought, well,
yeah. So
kind of like did a,
That's an age group that's been tough to really.
yeah.
bring
and
them
then
in.
like maybe get
Yeah,
those goods
yeah.
into, to create a video that we posted here or on the town site, just. And they could do interviews with people around town. They could go to historical society and, you know, present information from history or now the historical society is doing a lot more recently, you know, and talk about their programs or just interview town officials and kind of give an overview. We don't really have a town paper anymore now. The Holmans are gone. Could it just be possibly a resource of what's going on in town? And that maybe an intern could like research started up or something.
Does the town have a channel, cable channel or a?
I don't think we have it.
We would need the equipment, I would think. the
Maybe
equipment.
YouTube.
Like create an Instagram and like, or something like with mini shorts that like we could post, but Matt would approve each one. Like, cause it's obviously like he's the director of the library.
Like the
Right.
town has, they
But the
post their
kids-
selectmen meetings and other meetings online, but it's kind of like, you know, you have to know what the link is. Right, or audio, so that
Yeah.
even listening to them.
Yeah, stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, like mini shorts that are a minute or two long
Yeah.
on Instagram would be great for like around town. And then it's like something that they're interested in, that kids love to use Instagram, like.
Yeah.
you know, Like,
and I was thinking the kids kind of never come to like the hangout, but don't join any of the groups might be interested or the theater arts kids. something like that.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, there was a lot of comments
I
about
think
it.
I
Yeah, it might be yeah.
That I'm looking at the Tweed book group and how it's being discontinued. Tweed's is what we always got. Maybe someone young like her might have some ideas about how to reach people.
You have some, yeah. Yeah, that's a bit, I was thinking that might do something.
All right, anything else, Matthew, before you dig in?
No, I just wanted to, I just made a note to make sure to talk about those two things before we
Okay.
get lost in the director's report.
All right.
I do have to go because I have childcare issues.
Okay.
So we're probably gonna take, is it okay if I go? You know,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, we only need 5, and
Okay.
we've got more than that, so we're all set.
Did not realize this one was gonna take-
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Well,
Thank you.
Thanks. The lights will go on like, yeah.
It's all dark now.
Thank you, guys.
That's it. We can tell if someone comes in. Like, yeah, so again, a little bit for Tracy. So this is a report that I write every month. Again, this is intended to be a historical record and useful for the trustees. So the items on here have sort of accumulated, you know, there was one trustee who really wanted to know this number of unique patrons per month. And one year they asked me to put that, and I've been putting that on. So again, if anything on here that doesn't make sense, or if there's a number you'd love to see every month that's not on here, let me know, because we have complete control over this. It wasn't created for anyone but us. So generally what I do is I do this report every month. I put a bunch of statistics and numbers at the top. A lot of them don't have any meaning in isolation, but as you see them change, you know, saying that we had 604 unique patrons. I mean, is that a lot? Is that not a lot? Nobody knows. As you see that change over time, you can kind of see the patterns, and that's why I did put this record, so you can kind of compare
That's
like
good.
the highest month we've ever had.
Right.
Now, some of those are like bizarre anomalies that we're never going to reach again.
Right.
But some of them, like the ebooks, I mean, for the last 3 months, we've been setting a new record for e-audio because those just continually go up every time.
Great resource. Exactly, I have 2 going. Yeah, right now.
Yeah. Very popular.
So things I kind of watch, things that I think are pretty important. I mean, circulation is always a good number. That's traditionally been used to evaluate success of libraries, you know, as your collection meeting people's needs. I pay a lot of attention to the patron library, a little bit lower down, but the library visits per day. Now that we count those every day. We used to only count them 4 times a year. But since we opened the building, we started counting every day. So that's something I really watch, because especially since we moved to this building, there's a lot of people that come here and then never check out a book. They're doing something else. They're using the study rooms, they're going from.
How are you getting this number?
We count literally everyone that, we have a little clicker and staff at the desk, everyone that walks past our desk, we count. So we only count people that walk past our desk. So we're not capturing all the senior center, but if someone is at the senior center and then walks down to the classroom, we're going to count them as they walk by. And we do our best not to count duplicates. So if you run in and out of the building 4 times in the course of an hour, hopefully the person that's on shift is only going to count you once, because of kind of, well, some libraries use like electronic gate counters, which would pick up all those duplicates.
So Matthew, I know that we had that book sale in May. And we have a lot of people at that book sale, and they were saying it was a super busy day in here.
It was.
Maybe the busiest day ever?
No, second business.
Second busiest day.
First busiest was
Last year.
last year's spring book sale.
We may make more money this year, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, but then I see that May number is not so high. So,
Just they
Yeah.
might not have come down this end of the building, and maybe they were just that.
We did, so our count on the book sale day
she said.
was 347.
Okay.
Our record was like 409, and that was, I think, the last spring's book sale. So you can see, you know, if your average day is 160 or 150, so we probably had double the average on that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mentioned last. I think that plus 27 is not right either. I think that's supposed to be a minus 27. Yeah, I did. The library visit, I jumped out the library visits. I'm just seeing this, the plus 27 is definitely minus 27, because last month, that 186 that was the new record for average attendance. So I knew this month was gonna be lower. Yeah, so we put a bunch of statistics at the top.
What is that library visits numbers? What are those?
So the library visits, 169 was the average for May.
Daily average for May.
Yes,
That's one.
that should be a negative 27. That's the change from last month's average.
Okay.
So we were actually, I didn't change
Okay,
my,
it's 186 was last.
yes. And then the parentheses is the all-time record.
Okay.
So that's, it happens to be last month because we set an all-time record last
I was
month.
gonna say, it turns out the same number.
Yeah.
When is Deb Hudgens officially?
She has one more?
Oh,
June 15th.
yeah, okay,
Are we doing anything?
okay.
I know she's stopping at a lot of places. I don't know if it's.
I have a card at the desk that patrons are signing, and I'll probably pick up some flowers or something.
Thanks.
I
Okay.
only just met her for the first time at the Thimble Pleasures Quilt Guild meeting. She's, I expected to recognize this woman. I'm saying, I've never seen her. And she's very nice.
She's great with the
Very nice,
kids.
very-
Yeah.
She's still open to doing one-time events.
Yep, she
So
said
you
that.
may sometimes.
She did tell me, so if we ever wanted to come.
Be good, yeah.
Five Forks likes to be involved in like town stuff, so you can always send them an email, I think for free, like see if they'll donate a bouquet.
My wallet.
Yeah,
Do you remember last year when they like filled the seniors with buckets of flowers?
Yeah.
Just for people.
Oh,
to-
I used to work there.
Five Forks Farm, there was one day we came in and like the
Yeah.
entire lobby of the senior center was filled with buckets of flowers and they just donated them.
Yeah.
It was just like, everybody come down and take a bucket of flowers.
Oh, that's nice. It's like the radio station picks some place to do something a month. Is this what it is? Every month they go to a different place and they just pick the senior center that time or?
I don't know how they called Tanya or Tanya called them or,
Nice.
I don't know.
We took
Yeah.
Project Just Because in Hopkinton last month, we were dropping some things off, and they had buckets of flowers in the
From
in the box. So I know, I don't know where it was from, I'd never heard of it, so I thought, what are these buckets of flowers for? And now I know maybe that somebody, an organization donated them.
Yeah.
To the-
I thought I was
to the
told that they did it last year just because it was the end of the season and they had they had a lot of flowers and they said they would like to share them with us.
It's very nice, okay.
June 15th.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of statistics at the top, and usually I'm just sort of, if there's a trend, interesting trend, I might flag it for the trustees, but usually we just see the same sorts of patterns. Circulation is usually a little higher than last year, some months are a little lower than others. All of our digital content tends to be creeping up pretty consistently. You'll see, we talked about that number of passports per month number, that's why we're. So our record there, I don't remember the 64 month. I remember the 47 in March because that was overwhelming. So we must have had a month that was 64. And then room usage. Room usage was actually down this month, which is interesting. I don't know if that's just a coincidence or maybe related to some of the policy changes. So we made some policy changes to the study rooms, and the town has been. They haven't really made a policy change, but they decided to enforce parts of the policy related to insurance that they haven't before. So that's some groups from using the rooms that.
Well, May's an extremely busy month for parents, so that could be,
Yeah, it's not easy things, but, and then this whole section on programs, so these are all the monthly programs we run and we record the attendance numbers. And again, we're mostly looking for either things that have drastically changed or things that have been zero for several months consistently. And, why is that happening? Do we need to rethink the program? A lot of these kids ones, that they're capping out at 15 or 16 because that's what the program can hold. So, if you see story time at 14, that's probably a full registration of 16 and then a couple of people that couldn't make it last. And always the adult programs are very hit and miss. We do some that only get a handful and then every once in a while we hit the right spot of an interesting topic on a night that everyone can make it and we get a nice high number of 30 or 40 or something.
There's a holiday in May too, right? So library visits, that 24 is, normally it's 25, right? Well, Memorial Day.
Oh, the number of days open, yeah.
Well, that's 169 people or whatever.
Right.
Who wouldn't be at the library that day because it's closed.
Right, that's why we do the average, so we're not.
Yeah.
We're not, you know, otherwise February would always be.
Right. Yeah.
And then down at the bottom, we have whatever the special programs were, so those are the top section of things we do every month, and the bottom are. Special program. And then if I have any little comments about some programs, you know, we've sort of been tracking some, so trustees that have been here a while have, you know, seen some of these zero attendance ones that, you know, after, you know, we see zeros for 3-4 months in a row, then we start really thinking about, hey, this program we need to change or do something different. And then upcoming events that are in June, even if they've already happened in June, I put them on here. Just some notes about community groups that are using our space consistently, but it's not a library program, so we don't report it that way. Friends of the library often ask us to say a little blurb. They're doing their reading with friends again. And their monthly meeting is always open to any trustees or someone in. At one point, we had a concern about how many private events were happening and without a burden. So that's why I report how many private events happen. Those have again, mostly toward because of policy changes at town hall. They're making requirements that are making it harder for people to do private events, so we're doing less. And again, that's not a library function, but it's something I spend a lot of time on because I'm the one that's here in the building.
For the puzzle swap, it's
Yes.
such like a large amount of time. Could that be like a smaller window? So you're actually like getting to interact with people and like it's more like swapping puzzles for the future?
Michaela did that program. I don't know why it was an extended period before, maybe to try and get more people to attend. And I do know she had.
We've done that a couple different ways. I think we've done like, not at this one. This one was just the puzzles are on the table, coming and get it. But in the past, it's Michaela and Erica that do these. They have done like, for this hour, you can like just meet a person and swap. And then for the 3 hours after that, just the leftovers are on the table. So I'll have to ask them why maybe they found that most people wanted to just browse at their leisure and not be there for a specific hour. But I know they've done that in both formats.
Okay.
So adult program for this month, that's the libraries, would that be the puzzle swap?
Coming up in June. Yeah, and the virtual author visits, this virtual one that Michaela found, and the monthly stuff, right? So the 2 book groups that Michaela runs, the drum circle. What else do we do ongoing for adults and young adults? Oh, English conversation, which is going to be ending for the summer. She's only had one person coming and she's away for the summer, so she's going to come back in the fall and we'll restart that. The Rainbow Readers book group. We got one person to come to the adult one. No one came for the kids one.
For the adults program, have they ever tried doing like once a month do like an arts something like where like maybe they have someone or like every other month like bring in someone to do like watercolor or like bring in someone to do acrylic paint, like something that they can like take.
We've done those as one-offs. The cultural council, we did one. Well, no, the cultural council paid for it, but we ended up doing mostly organizing. With Lauren Scheuer, she did a series of those.
I would love that. Yeah. As a person, I know my mother-in-law.
They're very expensive.
Oh, they are.
Usually when we get quotes from presenters, they're talking, $30, $40, $50 per person.
It's a lot.
So we usually decide we can't fund those.
The one
Because
with
all
Lauren
material
was
was
$1,000. That was a
Or-
grant that Lauren received.
Yeah, could we post like an ISO in search of like a $20 buy-in, like artist who's looking to do a watercolor session? Just like an ISO.
Or something like that, it's
Where-
from Tilly who's in town.
On Instagram, like there could be someone out there that like it catches their attention and like $20 is like an easy buy-in, yeah. Yeah, just a food thought.
What do you
I'm
mean
like,
by 20?
Yeah, I know what
People
you're
pay
saying.
to come?
So the people
You-
would pay
you-
$20?
yeah, you could. like, you could post something like that, cause it's like, maybe, you know, they offer that at Hawkins Center for the Arts, but like, not everyone can go to like all 4 sessions or like whatever, like, so like a one-off night is like nice, because you're like, oh, I can just go do this one night and like have fun and whatever. And it's like a $20, it's a $20 buy-in, yeah, for like an hour and a half or 2 hours of watercolor.
So we post searching for the instructor. 'cause we
Yeah,
need the
you could,
instructor.
you could
Right.
post like an ISO on your Instagram.
What is ISO?
In search of.
Volunteer instructor?
No, it's not volunteer, or like they could get paid too, or like you guys, or whatever, you could split the profit or whatever.
What about one night, you know, where you go and paint parties cost them, are they?
I don't know, I think they're like $30 or $40.
You used to get, you don't get that painter.
Greg Myachak,
Yeah.
he used to be funded with the Cultural Council grant, and then I didn't apply this year. I think last year I applied and we didn't get the grant for him. But he's $800
Yeah, that's crazy.
for 20 people.
I
What
think
it
we,
costs.
I think we try to do an art program for adults at least once a year, but there are, you know, there are a lot of things you can do at a library besides art. I think
Yeah, yeah.
we try to.
I know, like,
Just like
does
a-
that for the senior center.
Yeah.
They had a program. Their friends.
No, but that, what I'm saying, their senior center does it. Does it painting.
The senior center does it here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That's how they do. Okay.
Yeah, we'll look at all that stuff, especially with the strategic plan, but it's just a matter of, I mean, it's
Funded, yeah.
bringing in an outside presenter has increased in price drastically in the last 4 years. And usually for art people, we get quotes of $40 to $50 per person.
And now instructors and performers are adding their mileage on
Now-
it. Which they didn't used to before.
Oh,
That's why we,
sure.
that's why we tried to do that local, I mean, that was our thought with the local experts program, is that if there's, instead of a professional who's coming from Boston, is there anyone in town that is willing to
That's what I was saying, like.
just share a little bit? So maybe we post some more of that,
Yeah, maybe do a social
post that
campaign
program,
on that to get people.
just to let people know, hey, if you have a skill and you want to share it, we can give you, you know, you're not gonna make your living at it, but we can give you a little compensation for your
Right.
time.
Name out to your.
Keep it
local
local.
community.
Right,
So maybe
Yeah.
your friends could help with that. I don't know.
yeah.
You can bring adult requests, adult program requests, then, right?
Do you ever do anything in collaboration with the senior center and their, what is it, FUS group? Their Fuse. Because it sounds like some of the things like.
The youth have not been willing to do anything to support the library. We asked them a few times to do things and they wanted us to pay them.
Okay.
The senior center
They
does.
probably feel we have a friends group
This is
too.
the flavors of the.
Yeah, they're very focused on, they're more about raising money and then the senior center does the program. We do collaborate with the senior center. There's, sometimes it's challenging with them because of just the times they do things, like they won't do anything in the evening.
Middle of the
Right,
day.
yeah, exactly. They close up shop.
So we do try to collaborate, you know.
That's tough. And they're not open on the weekends, so you can't do a Saturday program.
Right.
I mean, it's
Right.
I've done some
They have
little
limited
things with the
limited hours.
We were doing those tea parties for a little while.
tea parties, we've done game days.
Mahjong. Mahjong's really hot right now. There's one person in town that teaches at the senior center, I think. Right? Does anyone know? I would love for him to be here at night. I was like, I really want to learn Mahjong, and I was like, I would love to come to the library. Not to like go somewhere crazy. Yeah.
I do hear people who go like addicted.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, sometimes things like that, I think, oh, well, the senior center does that, so we don't have to. But you're right, we could,
I'm like, I can't go.
we could do it.
Different population.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like they do Tai Chi too, so we've never really
Right.
think about doing an exercise
Something
program.
during the day.
We duplicate it.
I have some jealousy issues of the seniors. I'm like, I can't wait to be a
You'll
senior.
be there in time.
I waited a long time to get there.
Oh,
No.
you know it.
Okay.
All right, and then, so, were there any other questions on the statistics? But usually what we do questions on the statistics and then we move on to them. So usually I have a few things that I just need to report on. Some, like, community center update has usually shown up here every month, and some months it's a lot of stuff, and some months I'm like, well, nothing really happened. So So sometimes I discuss them and sometimes we don't. We already talked about the end of fiscal year stuff.
I do want to say that I think the reason for lack of availability in the
Yeah, we're
parking
saying-
lot has a great deal more to do with baseball, softball, and baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball, yeah.
Yeah, we've also found out that there's quite a few people that park here and then go visit businesses in town.
Really?
So there's sometimes like
Parking.
I'll get here, there's, you
Yeah.
know, 40 cars in the lot and I walk in and there's 5 people in the
Right,
building. So
Where are they going?
it's being, some of the hair salons like don't have
Oh.
parking and they tell people to park here.
Oh.
With this exercise class at the same time as story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna get.
I know,
So that-
Friday mornings.
Friday.
It's not just plain,
I think
story time, it's the combination of things.
Correct,
Yeah,
I think use it, some people use it as a commuter lot, they drop their cars off and then,
right,
Totally.
go somewhere.
yeah.
One day it was really terrible. We found out like one of the construction companies doing road work had told all their employees here. I found this out from Tanya. There were like 10 or 12 cars that belonged to one of the construction firms that was doing road work in town. So,
They got to finish that road.
Years.
Yeah, yeah.
It's wild.
and we have limited,
They can move.
I brought this up at the whole parking issue has been talked about at the partners meeting. We have
Yeah.
limited thing, it's a municipal parking lot. No one wants to like be setting time, or
Right,
enforcing. Police want nothing to do with enforcing anything, who's parking or not. So pretty much all we can do is tell people there's a municipal lot on Grove Street and get here early for programs.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody at the zoning board was telling me, we're talking about building a bridge from that over here, but that's, for some people, that's a long term.
Yeah, it's been thrown out a few times and
Yeah.
no one,
Yeah.
and no one wants to pay the money that it would be having $1 million to build a little footbridge.
Right.
So yeah, sometimes I put little building things in there. End of fiscal year, are we good with the plan for that? So I'm hoping we can just do everything on our regular meeting and it'll be super smooth. Email newsletter. So this is kind of tied, something that has shown up as a priority in the survey.
Yes.
And I didn't want to wait until we actually had a plan. It seemed like something we could do fairly easily. Amelia was excited about it. It seems like kind of a no-brainer. So we're actually moving forward with using Constant Contact to do a weekly email newsletter from the library. Amelia's got all the formatting. We're probably going to go ahead and send the start. My thought was we'd gather subscribers first and then send the first issue. And Amelia said, no, as soon as you have a handful of subscribers, you need to provide some content. So we're going to do the start of the content and the start of gathering subscribers at the same time. Unfortunately, because of like library privacy concerns, we can't take any of the emails we already have and just import them to the newsletter. But we have to start over and have people. So we'll be promoting the subscription page. Obviously we can use, our existing publicity avenues to promote the subscription page, but we can't just say, take everybody that's on library and migrate them to.
It's too bad you can't do it as a sign up, like you're starting this, you might want to sign up as a one-time thing, just to alert them.
Well, we will. So we'll start.
They're gonna publicize, so they
Right. So next week.
automatically do it.
Yeah, we'll start putting out, it'll be like, scan the QR code to sign up or go to a link to sign up. Is that really?
So will there be one it says June 15th.
That's what we're thinking. I mean, Amelia has the first one ready to go. We did have to pay, Constant Contact has a very aggressive sales marketing group. But we were hoping we could go a little longer with the free version, but we pretty much have to go to the paid version right away.
Well, it's worth it based on the survey results, so
Yeah,
we know that's.
Yes. and again,
high on the list.
we'll probably fund it with some of the revolving fund photo money.
Right.
A lot of libraries are going to this format.
Is the weekly newsletters that take a lot of your time up? Or
It
the
could take a
person-
lot of Amelia's time.
Well, I was just thinking maybe she could work on like using an AI assistant to help build it based on like, it can just like read your website and make a newsletter based on that and you can improve it.
Jesus.
Yeah, Amelia's on top of that. She's in touch with the AI tool. I know Constant Contact has a lot of that
Okay,
built
good.
in. Um,
Nice.
I don't, we're all very wary. The whole library sort of world is very wary of AI, mostly around
Yeah.
what's happening to publishing and stuff like that. But using it for our personal tasks, we can, yeah, I think we'll be very watchful for
Yeah.
it pulling in wrong things or hallucinating them. But yeah, if it can speed things up, I think Amelia will look into it. All right, I'm gonna skip the strategic plan because we're doing that as a separate item. Policy manual, I just put a note here that it is still happening. I have been working on it. It is slower than everyone hopes, I hope particularly. But if anyone wants to, I'm doing this in a Google Docs file because it was easiest for me to be able to jump on and edit whenever I wanted to. So if anyone wants to look at progress, I can share that. I'm not gonna make it a public link because it's an unapproved draft policy manual, but if any trustees want to
Sure,
look at it, I
take a look
can
at
share the link.
I think the air is shutting.
No. It wants to
I think so.
Yeah.
Other timers. it's probably-
Matthew, what part you been working on lately?
So I had the table of contents done, and what I decided to do instead of jumping around, I literally just started at the beginning and have been working my way through. So some of them are, and unfortunately, once I start reading through it, like some of the ones I thought were pretty good, I didn't have to change. I'm like ending up changing a kind of a lot of stuff. So some I'm just editing. I haven't gotten to any of the ones that I have to create an entirely new policy. Like we don't have a policy on volunteers. We don't have a policy on the bulletin boards and we have practices. So basically a lot of those are just me recording what we've been doing. So far I've been working through editing and changing things around. So I'm up to right now the overdue fines policy, which is so out of date. I'm basically rewriting it from
Every time
scratch
I
because
look
it's
Policy
it's so out of date from what we're actually doing.
You owe a penny.
You're still in the building.
No, they were higher.
Yeah.
Used to be a dive, didn't it? Most of the time.
Yeah, and it was like $1 for DVDs and, all these. Exceptions. So that's what I'm up to.
I'm happy to take a look and some, if it's helpful.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I think we're at this point, I'm not ready for people to like
Sure.
look at each word or edit. We'll get to like a copy editing word choice kind of thing. At this point, I'm still just kind of on what's the intent of the policy and does it reflect reality? And then we'll have to do a second pass on.
Sure.
And some of them are gonna have to go through town council too, just to make sure some of the ones that, impact.
Yeah.
Public service and First Amendment and stuff like that. I'm hoping, I don't think the whole document, there's no point in the town paying town council to look at, our policy on overdue books or something, but the community boards and things, just in case they flag something that's, you can't actually.
In the end, we give our whole policy manual to town council?
I'm hoping to avoid that.
Yeah,
I'll-
because I know sometimes they get things and a year later they haven't looked at it. So
Yeah.
If we can avoid it, I think that might.
Yeah, but some of them, I gotta work, because the town manager sort of controls access to town council because it caught, every time they look at a document, it costs the town $200.
Yeah.
But some of them I'm probably gonna flag as, hey, we probably like.
It's a big document.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, just so we don't accidentally
yeah.
have a policy that, conflicts with the state constitution or something. I'm up on most of this stuff, so I think, like, I'm not gonna put anything in there that blame me, but there's some stuff in there's stuff in the room. I didn't write the room reservation policy, but the one for the great room has some language on religious groups that I'm like, this is blatantly, you can challenge this in a Massachusetts court anytime you wanted to. They tried to say you couldn't do religious activities in there. And I was like, how are you gonna tell people, a Bible study is different from, a book group? You can't. All right, I think that's all I had other than the strategic plan, which we can spend as much or as little time on as you guys want. Any questions on anything else other than the strategic plan? All right, so we are, unfortunately, I thought I was done. I put in the last 9 to get us to 9:29, and then the next week there were a few more in my mailbox. So at some point, I'm gonna have to just say, we're not accepting results.
I think we've got the trends anyway.
You have attached a document with the results, but that's not in this packet. That's on our online.
Correct, yeah, I didn't print that whole thing, so there was no, I can certainly put it on, can I put it on the screen? I would have to log into my, I can if you think that would be helpful. But we do have the initial batch of results, so, Erica actually helped me make some chart formats, so we did charts for the 4 big sort of substantive questions, and then the, free-form comment question was really interesting, so I put the entire text of all, I think we got 189 people that wrote something in that free comment box, so I put the full text. The only thing we changed is, some people put their names in there, and I didn't want to make those public records, so that's the only edits, so if there were spelling errors or grammatical errors, that's what people literally wrote.
Do you know how many you sent out? You said you got 100.
It went to every household, and I think it was like,
So happy.
I want to say 2,800 is about how many households, but it went with the census forms. So the fact that we put it in the census form is why we got, so we got 929 results. 189 people
Oh, okay.
wrote something in the, in other
Pretty
comment
good.
box.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, I guess, you know what, I could share this screen, might be the fastest way to get it up on that board if you do want to see it.
Really encouraged a lot of story time families that lived in town to fill them out.
Right.
Let's get feedback.
Yeah.
I can't click allow.
While you're doing that, Matt, did you get a list from the staff of items that they would like? Like their favorite items, like for like appreciation?
Oh,
We talked about.
yeah, no, I have not done that yet.
I'm gonna have to ask you to do that.
We haven't.
Yes. I know, literally, like on last month's agenda, I wrote it at the top. Because you know what my plan sort of was?
This is Murphy in charge.
I was gonna ask people at their staff evaluations, which I will be doing in the next week or two. I'm gonna make myself another note.
One snack, one drink, like the
Yeah.
something's like a not like non-perishables, like not, I'm gonna bring a bunch of grapes with me or something,
Yeah.
you know?
And you know what I'll do is, when I send out the announcement that I'm doing staff
Well, we
evaluations,
can
I'll include that, so.
They can keep.
Yeah,
they
we'll
can
still
have
do
it.
we too.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
But we'll have special things.
Yeah.
Yes, that was my plan, was to do it at the staff.
No, I was just requesting that like maybe everyone like picks like one of their favorite things, because the staff's not that huge, so like it'd be very easy for, you know, everyone to just get two small items to like put together for the staff.
Yes.
It's my screen. So the other thing I did, aside from just putting the data into a nice format, which Erica did for me, is I kind of flagged a few things that, I thought were interesting and actionable results, like things we could really pick out and say, here's the things we can make a change or do something different with. Because the next step is now we take this and then so every 3 to 5 years, we're supposed to do a new long range plan. And this is some of the data we're using for that. The next step will be for the trustees and I to identify, based on this data we've gathered and our own personal knowledge of the community, what do we want to be the priorities for our next 3 to 5 years of staff time and resource time. And I always want to remember that just because we don't select something as a priority doesn't mean we're going to completely ignore it, right? Like, so, you know, magazines are only 11.5%. That's not going to be our top priority in the strategic plan. Like, oh, we need to, but it doesn't, just because we don't pick it as a priority, we're not going to like throw out the whole magazine collection. It's just probably we'll just keep doing what we are doing unless, so I think what we should try to identify are things that we definitely want to do more of or add, because we're not doing them at all. And then things that possibly we are going to do less of, because we can't just constantly add more things while continuing. So there probably will be not too many things that we say, hey, we're not gonna do this at all, but we could just say, well, we're not gonna expand it, we're not gonna add just.
I'm laughing because you always tell me, we can't just keep adding things.
That's what I tell you all the time. You can't just add 3 more teen programs without changing anything.
Right.
So what's helpful for you tonight? Do you want to go through each of these 4 charts kind of quick? Or have you looked at them on your own? Do you want to just think about them more and come back with goals next time? Do you want me to give you my thoughts? What's helpful tonight?
I'd like to hear your thoughts. 'cause
Yes.
I looked at it and I thought a lot of the things were expectations that I thought didn't really belong to the library for some reason.
Interesting.
Like
Okay.
cooking classes and technology. If we had community ed, like most towns and particularly vocational schools had, they would provide that. Like Blackstone Valley has a great kitchen. They should be doing kitchen, you know, they have the tools, they have
Libraries do.
carpentry. I know, but I'm like, okay, when I worked in Medway, they had huge community ed programs that brought in a lot of money
Yeah.
and a lot of people, and it covered everything from teaching athletic classes, like even for adults, like pickleball or tennis, and cooking, and they did you know, they went to New York for the day in Christmas time, and people would all go in, and they toured, you know, and I think that's what we're lacking as a town, and to put it on the library, I feel like it's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
So like, why is the BBT offering anything?
That's what, exactly.
That's
Like,
like-
have you seen the
that's
catalog
first-
for Massabit?
Yeah,
Or
it's-
Keith?
yeah, it's huge, right,
Huge.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
freaking Medway.
But they don't all, you know, some do and some don't. It's just a different town.
Yeah, I guess maybe it'd be nice to push to see if we could, because, I mean, Valley Tech has a great robotics program, you know, that you can get kids, middle school kids interested in, kids, all that stuff. So,
Okay.
Yeah,
So why
these are all the
don't you tell us
discussions
what
that'll be good to have, you know, it's what
Yeah.
should we do and then what
Yeah.
can we do? So all that goes into the goals.
Right.
Right.
And this is just an early step in the process.
Yeah.
So our first question was these are basically all of our current services. Which ones are most important to you? So it's always nice when books are way at the top. So, libraries and books, it's nice. People really do, you know, all those people that say nobody reads books anymore. It's not true.
Right.
You do. Some things that did stand out to me, and we talk a lot about passport applications and how much effort we're putting into that service, and it was the 3rd highest
Yeah.
result, so I think that's
Yeah.
useful for us to know as we discuss those things. One that really stood out to me was that town information, that's the one that it was surprisingly high. Most of this I sort of could have predicted. That was the one that I was like, wow, I didn't realize that's surprisingly high for something we don't do very much of. And it's also something that I flagged as that would be fairly easy to do. You know, we have to dedicate some space to it and some time, but it wouldn't be like this massive undertaking. It's something we could easily make concrete action with that I think people would appreciate.
I wonder if this is just a thought, if you could, you know how they have that new Upton update newsletter there monthly? If we could put a link to it on our page. So people, not everybody goes to the town website, but they might come here, they might see it there, and there might be a way to see that.
Yeah,
Or even the first 5 or 6 things that would come up on the town website or link to the town website.
I think as we dig into this, and make a plan, I think it'll be 2 components. One of it will be online. Because you're right, we could link a lot of the things from our website,
Right.
but some of what I'm hearing is people want not online stuff anymore, you know, adding another, you know, if you want to know, if you're the kind of person that's going to Google the select board agenda, like you can find it. If you're good at using websites, you can find it on the town website. So adding it to the library website, maybe you might get a few more eyeballs on it. But I think where we could really be valuable is some sort of physical display where someone might walk by and just like, oh, I had no idea
Town recycling day.
right.
Yeah.
Recycling.
The town meetings could be listed
You know,
there.
The planning board meetings, they can even be there discussing something that's really important to you, but you have no idea that it's even happening or.
Be careful. There's an
So,
awful lot in that, what you're just saying.
Yeah.
Every single committee has a lot going on.
Right, so we can't just,
Should be.
You could you could write like the day, like a monthly thing that says, these are all the meetings happening this month. And then just be just a meeting thing. And then like, you obviously know, it would say at the bottom, like, go to the town website for more information, but like, here's all the meetings. So if you're interested, you can just take a look.
right, and there may be some judgment call on either my part or whoever maintains the display, because if you just want a list of all the town meetings, you can get that on the town website, but some of them obviously are more, the posting for the meeting that's gonna decide whether 80 units gets built, that posting is posted exactly the same way as the one that, decides
Right.
whether your neighbor can build a shed.
Yeah.
right? So if we could use a little
Right.
human judgment and sort of say, hey,
Yeah.
this is a meeting that might be of more interest to the community.
wider
Yeah.
community.
Maybe
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
And maybe some committees will come to me and say like, hey, either
Leave us off.
either don't post our stuff, or maybe they can say, hey, like, we're lakes and ponds, we're really actually kind of important, can you post our stuff too? So,
And we are looking for more people.
yeah, so we'll see. But I don't know the
Yeah.
details yet, but that's definitely something that
Right.
leapt out to me, is this would be something we should be doing and we could be doing. Other than that, let's see what I put down here. Yeah, those two jumped out as high priority. For the lower priority, so adult programs, I know we talk about them a lot, so they tended to be a little on the lower side, on the priority list. Art programs were a little higher. And that's reflected by the attendance, sometimes some people really think, hey, it's a great idea, you should be doing this, but then sometimes we actually do them and nobody comes, or they're not at the right time, or it's not regular, so.
It was hard, because I'm looking at this public computers and I see 15%, and I think that's very surprising to me. I would have thought that
Surprisingly low or surprisingly high?
surprisingly low. Because it seems like, but we've seen it all the time.
Yeah, so I mean, again, when you do a survey like this, sometimes something that's rated low, like, maybe most people have a computer in the home, but even if it's only, if they say, 95% of Upton has high-speed internet in their house, the 5% that don't, you may be a little service, right? So
Yeah.
you gotta be real careful, just because something only got 10%, that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it, because for those 10% of the people, that may be vital to them.
And library things, 15%, that's surprisingly high, because I don't think hardly anybody is, it's only small now.
Yeah,
Right.
Or things could be growing, the like Spanish materials, kids that are, like, my daughter's in the Spanish immersion program, so, like, it's been like,
So it's nice.
when
to have
she
that
was thrilled to find that there were books that she could start to learn to read, and it'll be a great thing for the summer for her to keep that up. But again, if people, until and like, I hadn't thought about it last year because it wasn't a thing, but.
and we also combine this with usage statistics, and the Spanish language collection is a really good example, because most people we talk to, parents, educators, students, they say, oh, having a Spanish collection is very important. But when we actually look at the usage statistics, they get very, very few checkouts. So sometimes there's a weird disconnect between what people say they want and what they actually are using.
For sure.
All right, so the next big question we said, so this was focused specifically on children's services. We did have a question that said, do you have children in your household? And I did have a thought of, well, should we break out the responses that do have children, don't? I ended up just combining them. This is just our first pass through. So again, these are services that we offer now, which ones are most important. What did I flag on these? So the whole play area, Leanne and I have lots of discussions. There's frustrating days where it feels like Leanne spends all her day cleaning up the children's play area. But we do get a lot of feedback that is important to people.
Some people, that's all they do.
Play is important.
Yeah.
For that, that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe during the summer, you could have the intern take over at least like 10 minutes, a few times a day for you.
Yeah, we got a few volunteers. We have a volunteer, actually, there's someone from the high school, like the post-school age kid. There's a program where they
18
support
to 23.
agents, and we have someone from there that's been volunteering to do
Just
some
came
of
in
that
and
stuff.
helped swap over all the toys.
Yeah, we really have, I think this year we've really increased our use of volunteers.
Yeah, but again, that's another thing though. A lot of volunteers, they sign up, but they don't. So.
Yeah, managing that's a whole other animal.
Yeah. So we see a lot less variety here. You know, most things are in the 20 to 40 range. It's harder to identify something that nobody's really using because, well, except for book clubs. Book clubs are a struggle.
But not very many people show up, right?
Right. Yeah. Book clubs are another one where everyone you talk to says they're super important and then nobody actually comes.
Yeah.
Although Kids Book Club has been doing pretty well.
Small but mighty. That's what we say sometimes.
So, yeah, I think gaming events and book clubs, you know, obviously the two lowest, you know, the other events, crafting events still very high, math and science events very high. So certainly people are more interested in children's educational stuff than they are in adult educational stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot that was surprising or actionable there. So this one was super interesting. So this was the question of, we listed a number of things we don't do at all. We said which ones would be most important to you. And here the cooking programs jumped right to the top, which is interesting.
Borrow tools.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, there's libraries that they lend, like, they try to do kind of special things you might not use too much, like
Right.
a tile cutter or digger that you need it for one project and you don't want to go buy or rent one.
I think we have all of those.
That's challenging space-wise, you know, we don't have a building that's really set up for we don't have a tool shed or any place to store them, so.
Every nook and cranny is full here.
So some of these, you know, maybe we can do like some little electric tools, I don't know, we threw these out there.
But it looks like there's some actionable items here.
Yeah, so I think cooking programs will have to, just the fact that it's so high, it have to at least be discussed and
Yeah.
come up with
I
something.
think that'd be easy to do. I've said it for a long time. There's so many people.
Oh,
We have that.
Recipe swap night. Bring your favorite recipe.
yeah,
Bring 10 copies of your favorite recipe or however many people are invited and everyone can just like swap their favorite
That's a
recipe.
good thing to do in November.
I think so. We even just, we have that fabulous kitchen, and I think most everybody has something that they really like to cook and would be happy to demo for other people to come.
Okay, Matthew, what's the other
This-
side of this?
And also,
there's a number of challenges, I don't know if I want to get on the wall right now, but
Yeah.
there's a number of challenges, there's a reason why no cooking demonstration has ever been done in the 3 years we've had that kitchen by either us or the senior center. Libraries have been successful with kind of virtual cooking
Yeah.
thing where
yes.
they send you the recipe and the ingredient list and you cook it at home.
Okay.
Right.
A lot of the challenges related to, so yeah, we have a kitchen, but we don't have 8 mixers, right? So if you want to do a baking demonstration, is it a demonstration or do people want to do it while they're watching? We don't have the equipment to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we can overcome some of those. I mean, the fact that this came up this high, we can
Right.
try some. Again,
And you have
there's
to be
expense
like,
involved, there's space involved. There's the fact that we basically can't have any access to the great room until after 4 PM. Because the senior center uses it.
Right.
and whoever's like in there cooking or demonstrating, do they have to be serve safe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, do they have to be, or
Yeah.
somebody has to be?
Somebody, I can't imagine we would let someone who's not
Yeah.
run a cooking demo.
Yeah.
So
So
again,
what's wrong with doing it online? Having somebody.
nothing, it just
It's easier.
doesn't use the building, right?
No, that's.
We may have to do a combination. I mean, Mendon's been pretty
Men's has
successful
been
with
using
that
it
model.
very successfully from what I
Yeah.
understand.
The remote one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They send you the ingredients and then you watch while the person makes it.
Right.
And maybe you're making it at the same time, or maybe you're not. Right?
And the question I always have is, how is that better than just going on I mean, you can watch people
Yeah.
cook on YouTube all day if you want.
Yeah.
Well, you can ask
There has to be some, what's the,
Yeah,
is
what's the
it
benefit?
interactive, is it local, why are we doing this instead of just go watch the cooking channel?
Right. Yeah.
Where if
Maybe
it
it's
was
the
in person-
recipe they're doing. My daughter did that a couple of years ago on the North Shore. She had several cooking classes.
So she taught them or took them?
She taught them.
Yeah, so again, if there was a local piece to it, if it was,
Yeah.
would a local restaurant
I was gonna say.
cook one of their signature dishes? Something like that is a lot more attractive to me than just hiring some person that does this for their living.
Yeah.
fun. We'll have a lot of discussions about.
People, it's, I mean, it's good to pay people for what they do for a living. You know, we want to support that too.
Well, I
They
guess
have a
my thinking
talent
was
that they
like,
can benefit from.
you know, someone that just does cooking demonstrations and like, you know, people who just do this in libraries and, you know, they do it remotely and they may be in, you know, some other state and have no connection to it at all.
Right. Maybe better if they were local, but if they're not, they would still be something people might enjoy.
Right, as long as
As
it's,
long as they tell you.
as long as there's a level of value, like why are we paying someone $500 to do something? I can go look. That's why we do remember we discussed that whole continuing education database thing and I did some demos for the seniors and they were all like, this is worse than just Googling it. Yeah,
Well, that's sometimes why it's good to get the people who do it for a living, because they know how to bring people in and then they know how to engage them in cooking things, if that's what it was, or crafting things.
right, if you can do that, right? I think a lot of the value of that is the in-person.
Yeah, it would be great.
Be able to do it while you're.
It would be great. You could, but not, but you're saying this, but people don't do it in person because there's problems with the kitchen if they don't have a safe serve or whatever. You know, sort of say that.
Right, so, and the kitchen size, you know, we could do a great program for 8 people,
Well,
you know?
Hmm.
So again, I'm not saying,
yeah,
I mean, it clearly came up as a high priority. We're
Yeah.
gonna set goals for the next 3 years. It's not gonna happen this summer.
Yeah.
But maybe it happens next year. Maybe we invest a chunk of resources in it, but it's all just weighing, you know, like the art programs, you know? If it costs us $100 per person, is that a cost effective per participant, right, you know? Okay, so, author visits was another one. Again, I think that sometimes people say they want it and then don't actually, because we've done author visits and. But there's ways to do it, you know, if it was an author fair, you know, that's more attractive than just one author you've never heard of. If it was like, we invite a bunch of local authors. So there's ways we can do this. And this is what we'll talk about for the strategic plan. I don't want to brainstorm too much right now.
How about the Sunday opening? Did you like that?
I was actually,
Yeah, I know.
Leanne gets a lot of Saturday children's programs and evening children's programs. Leanne gets, I was expecting those to be higher based on how many people
No,
talk to
I'm
Leanne
getting
about it.
people, yeah, well, again, that might not be people who are filling out the survey though.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I've had people tell me they would come all the time to Saturday story times, but I can't be here every Saturday. So how do you make that
Right.
reality?
Yeah,
You know, some libraries, the bigger libraries do that every Saturday. They have
Yeah.
Saturdays. And I am going to implement more starting this next fiscal year.
And we,
But it's always gonna be the one day I'm here, so it's not gonna be
Yeah.
spread out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, okay, we might have 2 events on the Saturday I'm here,
right.
and then nothing
Well,
the following 3.
Right.
So
Well, but you
That's
got
a
so many
staffing
other
issue.
people.
Once a month, one of
it's a
those.
staffing issue.
and you're
There's no
staying
one
with the
else.
0 to 6-year-olds for the Saturdays? We've
That's
haven't done
Saturday story
anything for
time.
elementary school kids yet. Would you hear about that from people? That I wanted for my, I can't come during the week, but I would like to have like a story time or craft thing or
I did
singing
not do
games.
that. Matthew and I have talked about a few things for the fall. I'm gonna try applying for a grant for something for the elementary kids. We do have a drop-in craft program that I'm gonna try to implement a few times a year, but it's just me,
And what
one
time is
Saturday a
that?
month. So unless you have someone else
What
working
time
on
is
Saturday,
the arts and craft thing?
11 to 1.
Okay, so it's not, it's
Done-
elementary kids.
times
they're at
I-
school.
The times I've done it, have
One
been
Saturday.
back to back on a Saturday after the Saturday story. time. So it's while I'm here, I'll do the
Yeah,
story
yeah,
time,
yeah.
have a little break, run that program,
Right.
and then that's it.
And but people have. people have-
The feedback I had gotten years ago was people want Saturday programs, so that's how Saturday story time started.
Yeah,
And now that's built up, and people want more, but how do you make that with the staffing we have now?
and then, right, and there's competition because there's sports and there's this and that, so, but not everybody does that, so hopefully you can get some.
And you can't have a volunteer on Saturday mornings, to do like a story time for you?
Well, the
We are wary, again, it's
Yeah.
consistency, right? So someone volunteers and then, oh, that's the weekend I'm going, you know, to visit my family. And it's quality.
I see that, yeah.
As Leanne puts a lot of professional expertise into it. It's not just, oh, I love kids, I can read a book.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, behavior management.
Yeah.
And being able to work with parents and caregivers.
But the children's
It's everything.
specialist is not qualified for it.
Well, she is.
She's qualified, she only works 19 hours a week, so.
Her hours are not on Saturdays, and so she's not hired for that.
And 6 of them are at the desk, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we had to dip into her
Right,
time to do it.
okay.
I would love to see someone else do it on Saturday.
Yeah, volunteer running story time is, we've had guest readers, but we've always had another library staff person there for all those little things that can go wrong in management. The totally, yeah. The times when someone has said, I'm capable of doing a story time all by myself, we've made it not a library program. Well, Charlotte did that once
Right,
at the, because then it's just, there's a clear line that, library staff are not responsible for what's happening
Right,
here, but
right.
maybe
Yeah.
a great program, and we hope you enjoy it.
Hmm.
All right, it's getting
Okay.
later than usual, but thank you all for taking it. Quickly, so,
They don't normally go this late.
yeah. We've had some pretty short meetings the last couple times, but
Yeah, the in person, and sometimes getting to be around people makes it,
Yeah.
more
and
conversation.
everything related to the strategic plan is just gonna take a lot of time.
while, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of conversation.
So then this was our sort of publicity question of, these are all the ways we reach out to people, which ones are most effective. So this is where we're getting this information that these weekly, so we had 2 sort of weekly email ones. So that's, you add those 2 together, that's a nice high priority. I was kind of hoping to de-emphasize Facebook. I'm not a fan of Facebook as a way of reaching people, but it ranked high enough that we're
Right.
gonna keep posting to it. People seem to be still using it. And then the other thing that I sort of flagged, I know we've talked several times about the idea of having something visible from the road. That was not a super high priority. Also would be, speaking of town red tape, that's gonna be a huge project.
Yeah.
Somebody made a comment that there wasn't a library sign. I'm not even aware of whether it is or not. It's just community center, and they were like, they didn't.
Yeah, on the
understand.
side.
Yeah, so driving by,
That's a good
if you
point.
don't know that this is where the Upton Library is, if you're just driving through town, it doesn't leap out and say like, yeah, this is a library. And we've been talking about that since the day we opened the building.
Yeah.
But
If
it's,
you drive through the parking lot, it says public library right on it.
right, but by the time.
Like a plaque on the side of the building.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I love,
Facing 140.
and I love
Yeah.
how people are like, oh, the sign's not important, but everyone's reading that giant light up sign as you drive past it in the center of town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah,
What is that light up sign?
the one
way
that's
at the
like,
town hall.
Looks like road work, yeah.
yeah, it's like after this, waste
The one
day
that's on
or
the-
whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, grass.
There's one on
Guys
Pleasant
work
Street
Wednesday.
and
That's
one
gotta
on
be
Main
good.
Street now, and then there's the other one.
Oh,
This
okay,
side, too.
don't you mean?
Yeah, hazardous waste, all that stuff.
You're probably paying attention to the road, Lori.
I'm not driving these days, though.
That's right, you're not trying to.
But,
I'm trying not to hit anybody driving through that intersection.
I know, right? Yeah, yeah.
And then I did jump in here, so these are all of the open
Right.
comments. Some of the rest are interesting. I haven't gone through all of them in detail. There's some that I think we will definitely, the ones that just say, hey, great job. Well, those are nice. It's nice to hear that. The ones that say the library's a waste of tax money, those you just move on and ignore. There's always gonna be 5 to 10% of people in town that, hate what you're doing. But there are some that are super interesting and well thought out here, and there's some that I think we need to take action on. There was one that was written by a deaf patron who had some really good comments. I think that's one that we will have to flag as, even if that person hadn't written in, we've been having staff discussions on,
Yeah.
we need some plan for if someone shows up and says, I need a sign language translator at this story time, we need to have some response other than, oh, sorry, we hadn't thought of that.
Do you have, I'm looking at like the signs in the building. Do you have Braille on any of them?
Only the ones that are required by code for it. So like the labels for the doors, the ones that were posted by the construction, those all have Braille. But like the sign that says story time in progress or something like that, we don't typically produce in Braille. So other stuff, yeah, if we had a solution for that.
I don't think you can see it. I think it does have it. Like the storage sign right there, that one has it on it.
Yes, because that's required by code. That's required by like fire code or building code, those gray ones. Yeah, so I really want to delve through these tonight, but feel free to look through and, when we actually do the plan, maybe. I was happy with the comments, there's a few that really made me think, oh, this is something interesting that someone's clearly thought about and we should incorporate into our plans.
Okay. So more on that next month, I guess? Next couple of months? All right. Next is the library director performance review. So I sent it out a couple times, just to remind everyone to get feet. What's that?
I suppose both of us were like, oh, no, we're done.
Okay, I know, sorry. Well, we could table this we could table this till July because we don't have goals listed. That section. We only have the performance review section. So how you want to if you want to postpone it till July, which is fine.
Slate.
How do we do the goals for next year? That's starting soon.
Have we done them in the past?
It's varied. Sometimes we've had a committee, sometimes it was John and I just writing them, and then, last time we did kind of like a long, everybody sent suggestions to Debbie, and she kind
Right.
of compiled them all.
Yeah, I think that would be the best way. Maybe I could put a Google Doc together, I guess, a survey, whatever, like a survey kind of thing where you could list, as many as you want.
Yeah, I would say like to keep it, like, I don't know, everyone should list like 3 goals, or if you just have one, you could fill out one, you can put NA in the other 2 boxes.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. And then I compiled it in previous years and categorized it. This is programming, this is training, this is IT or whatever.
So,
So I can do that.
the goals from last year, evaluating the goals from last year.
That's in the performance review.
Okay, it's part of it now.
Mhm.
It's always been part of it.
Okay, because then, you had sent us
That was his evaluation
self-evaluation.
of his, right, exactly, the self-evaluation. So, but ours is already, I mean, it's drafted. I'm not
Right.
saying it's done, we need to vote on it,
Right,
but that's all done. It's just the goals that we still need to work on.
Yeah.
So, all right, so do you want me to send something out to everyone, getting goal suggestions? Is there a way, can you also give?
Yeah, that was my thought.
What do you
Based
want
on
to do for your
The
goals?
goals
Right.
should be kind of related to the
Right.
strategic plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
They were going to be.
yeah, they should be. I mean, you guys could go out of the blue and suggest something else, but,
Right.
yeah, I could certainly, if you want me to suggest some things that I'd
Yeah.
like to work on, and that
Yeah.
makes sense that we talked about,
Yeah, no, I think you should, yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be
Sure.
great.
that makes sense.
then feel free to contribute. your
And
own.
then we can just discuss it. I'll try to categorize them and, send them out to everybody, so you can see what they are.
The only thing I'll say on the goals is, sometimes it can turn into just, here's a bunch more things to do, and it,
Right, yeah.
as there are limits, we can't just continually add this. Sort of, please identify things that I need to work on more, I need to prioritize more, things that have been hanging around forever that we haven't gotten done, things that we've talked about that haven't gotten
Right.
done. But my goals can't just be more of everything.
For sure. I mean, I think we know that, as you said, if a book comes in, a book goes out, programs are added, then there's only so many hours staff has, so something has to potentially go.
Do you
So,
want to send us what your
Yeah.
goals that
Yeah.
you're working on now, presently? Would that be helpful?
I'll try to
we already
see
have his
something.
self-review, which was the goals, wasn't
We
it?
both from last.
I didn't
year.
print it, right, he sent us the goals we gave him.
Yeah.
And what his
Evaluation.
evaluation
Yes,
of
you're right.
that is. So maybe you could send that out again, just to make sure.
Yeah,
But that's what we have. So right now, we're talking about a July 1, the next
Yeah.
fiscal year goals.
yeah, and I'll say, a lot of times get just tied up in things that have to happen today and things that have to happen this week, and what has a deadline that I have to get done tomorrow, so I think maybe you guys can be better at kind of pulling back and looking at the big picture, because if you ask me now, like, what do you think are things you should be doing in, November of next, like, I don't know, probably dealing with, car accidents in the parking lot and,
Yeah.
the playground's covered with snow and, so, and the, the town manager asked for me to do a report. And so, I think that is where the trustees can be really valuable, is kind of saying, kind of using this process to make sure I don't forget about big picture things, because I get tied into day-to-day things.
Policy procedures.
I also think it's important to set deadlines, because then you have a goal to reach.
Yeah,
Like, people
that
need,
helps.
like, when you call someone and you're like, hey, I need to hear from you by the end of the day, or more, instead of, hey, can you call me back? Then someone's like, hey, this person really needs to talk to me. Let me call them by the end of the day. People need like timelines, or else they feel like it's loose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the draft evaluation that Debbie shared, the comments and everything, I really agree with, all the things that you guys flagged in your comments are kind of things that I've been thinking like, oh man, this, project, the strategic plan is, a year behind where we wanted to be, policy man, I can feel it like every time I have to run up to go deal with a, broken door or something, okay, well, that's another 2 hours I'm not spending.
Yeah, and the problem is a year from now, we have to evaluate you on it. So how do we evaluate you on, building maintenance? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
That's the thing. We're thinking of, okay, goals, we've got to come up with goals. And we come up with these great goals, but
Right.
if it's not specific with, with deadlines, I mean, a year from now, we'll go, I don't know, did he maintain the building right? Did he
Yeah,
fix the doorknobs? It's hard for us to do that, because a year from now, we get to say, okay, did he do it or didn't he do it? And
But I
We can do a 50% check-in too, like halfway through the year.
thought we were doing it I thought we had a thing for director's goals every month. Is that
yes,
yeah, well,
Part of
Debbie asked me to
Yeah.
put it in the report,
Yeah.
and, some months I had useful updates, and some months it was just like, well. not
well, and
today.
maybe that's one of the ways to,
Maybe that's a goal.
as you said, put deadlines on it. We'll see everything each month or make it work.
And
So,
we waited to talk about this until we got the survey. So I think we're supposed to
Right.
think about goals that came out of the
Come on.
survey.
yes,
Yeah.
I mean, some of it's gonna be in the strategic plan, as I said, we can't do everything in the next
Right.
year,
Yeah.
but
But if there's
Things-
things glaring at us, we should
Right.
say, yeah, probably need to do something about that.
Matthew, how much time do you spend on the building maintenance kind of thing? Because I'm thinking the town manager isn't running around fixing door handles at town hall. And neither is the town clerk, so.
A lot of
It-
things that
the
pop
thing
up.
is, he's
Exactly.
here.
It varies day to day,
He's
and,
here.
it's
Right,
always
but
a
still,
judgment call,
they're
of,
there. No, I
if
know.
it's,
It's,
if it's, I have a little toolbox in my, if I can, like our flag
Right.
broke,
Oh, it did.
that windy day, our flagpole broke, and it was easier for me to, I had a spare one in my office, I just put it on. So sometimes takes less for me to fix something, but then there's other things like, when we had complaints about ants in this room, that was like, it wasn't me
You couldn't
doing
do-
pest control, but it was me like, okay, send an email to Dennis, send another email to Dennis,
Yeah.
email the person who, was concerned about what chemicals were being used in the room that their child's in. So it varies. The town does give a lot of support. Like if I escalate an issue to Dennis,
Yeah.
He's very responsive and he gets things done. And, they have a budget, we're not spending our budget buying toilet paper and stuff, but, I'm the one that's here. If someone comes in on Saturday and says the lady room is out of paper towels, I take 5 minutes and I go change it.
Great. And those things add up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we have a plan, correct? I will send out something, we'll suggest goals, and Matthew will also, because that might help us shape
Right.
what we're thinking, what
Right.
you're thinking. And we'll postpone this till next week, okay? All right? Sounds good?
We're gonna talk about, see if there's staff appreciation, we're gonna set a date, or do you wanna do that next month?
Well, you and I just talked about it offline.
Yeah.
today. I think we've come up with a Tuesday, right? Because that's when the most staff
Yes,
are
everybody,
here.
but if you do it like early to mid Tuesday afternoon, we'll catch everyone leaving from the morning shift and coming into the afternoon.
Okay.
shift, And it's everybody but one.
Was it not gonna be the same day as the CPR training?
I have not heard, I can check this one now. I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
he was trying to do a
I
training.
was trying, Tanya was gonna schedule
okay.
something through the fire department. I don't know if that ever went anywhere. Maybe she couldn't find a day.
So if it can't be done in conjunction with that, we talked about a Tuesday in September,
Yes.
right after the summer
the
program
summer.
is over.
All the great-
All the
Staff
craziness,
have worked really hard also.
Right.
Right, so that's
So-
when they'll really.
you know, maybe not the Tuesday after Labor Day, but maybe that following Tuesday. So we'll put that on next month's,
Okay.
because we still have time to set it, but it sounds like it's gonna be a Tuesday in September.
We have an AED in there too, right?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I can't visualize what it is.
My stuff worked done. I don't usually, but I'm like, I come home, do dinner, bedtime, and then get back on, and if I don't remind myself to just
Massachusetts.
stop, but yeah, it's just hybrid work.
To AV stuff, I think it's state, it's all required by building code.
So it's like, okay. Time to turn it off.
Okay, so we'll postpone that, we'll put that on the agenda for next month, setting a date, but it sounds like it's gonna be a Tuesday in September.
Yeah.
And the review, we'll put the contract, because that's a minor thing, we can review that next.
Yeah, the contract issues.
Yeah, and the town doesn't even, it's not even a town document. Anyway,
No.
and we'll put that on next month. So we're postponing the end.
Yeah, the AEDs, I was just thinking, I don't think they've tested since we opened the building, so that's another thing. Is that my responsibility or anything? Like that? We were just thinking about, we were buying some Band-Aids and stuff, and we were like, whose responsibility is to restock there's first aid kits, there's a first aid kit right there.
It should be a monthly checklist that put someone in charge of it to make sure that you have all your supplies in your first aid kit.
Yeah, but I mean, is that the library's responsibility? Is that the facility manager's
No,
responsibility?
no, whoever I think is in like the building. It's not like.
No, I didn't know if it's anybody-
I'm one of your staff members, it'll
Well, that's
take
true.
like 5 or 10 minutes to go through, like, okay, like I have everything on my checklist, that's it.
Right,
You know.
and then we have to reorder it. Erica I asked her to put some Band-Aids in there, she came back and said, oh, these 3 things are expired, so no. And
Right.
we have no budget.
Oh.
Oh, they're
I mean, I'm gonna buy, I buy stuff for the first aid kit from the revolving fund basically, but it's just that.
Okay, anything else?
Boy.
Then we are closing the meeting at 9:02, Charlotte.